There are a couple of different places that this newscast is going to take us. So first and foremost, Senate floor is still open. Our senators are working hard, trying to get some policy changes in, introduce bills. Earlier today, though, interestingly enough, they actually voted to kind of change the way President Donald Trump and presidents in the future will be able to work with wars and how much they'll be able to do as the kind of leaders of our country. So it was interesting because some Republicans who normally back a lot of what President Donald Trump puts out there, they actually crossed lines in order to make this vote go through. So again, it's kind of like this whole reckoning where Congress in some ways are trying to say that they rebuke the Iran war. The Senate is the next puzzle piece in this whole little thing that's going on here. The House already did it. Now is the Senate's turn, and now it goes on, and we'll see what happens next. Another big thing that we're keeping our eyes on is the FIFA World Cup. Like, we're going absolutely FIFA crazy here at Fox 29. As you can see on the bottom right part of your screen, you're taking a look at the U.S. men's soccer team. They got to practice today, and what seems to be pretty cool is Pulisic is back, and he's one of our star players. He was out on injury. They were just trying to make sure he would still be fresh for some of the more, I guess you could say, important matches of this FIFA World Cup. So it looks like Thursday, when we're in our knockout stage, he should be back up running well. It'll be great. So we'll see how that all shakes up at Los Angeles Stadium later on this weekend. Los Angeles Stadium is actually what you're taking a look at right below me. Thursday is going to be the day. A lot going on. Fans out on the West Coast are going to go crazy to see some of their favorite players get together and try to win this whole thing. But we here in Philadelphia, I mean, we've got our eyes on a couple of different matches ourselves this week. So today, earlier, there was that Portugal versus Uzbekistan match. That was in Houston. It was also England versus Ghana. That was in Boston. Right now, Panama is taking on Croatia. That's happening at Toronto Stadium. So I'll keep you up to date on what the score is there throughout the evening. But we need to get into some of our tougher news. This is some of the harder news of the day. Our Shawnette Wilson went out to try to get a little bit more information. You may have seen these headlines about these two teenagers from Delaware who were hit and killed in a hit and run. Well, Shawnette got down to the roads, trying to make sure she could hear more and more from some of you people out there. Shawnette, what have you got for us?
So we actually came out to Townsend, Delaware, to see if we could get more information about these two young people who lost their lives. Kara and Nate, they were both 17 years old. This happened around 1 a.m. just this past Sunday when they were walking their e-bike between their parents' houses, and Delaware State Police say that someone hit them as they were walking on the side of the road, and that person kept going. Now, we do know that police have since arrested a 23-year-old man, taken him into custody, said that they were able to find the vehicle, and police say it had damage to it that basically let them know that it had been involved in this tragic accident that took both of these teens' lives. So as we came down here today, we were aiming to just maybe try to find the family and talk to them, and also to get the word out about a GoFundMe that they have to raise money to help with the burial, but also to create some sort of permanent memorial. But we ran into a community member who shared with us that friends of the victims were having a memorial here tonight at the park. So that's where we are. We're trying to be really sensitive, as we did promise the family and the kids that we would not be here all night, just to give the family some time. So this young lady's actually come in to talk to me quickly. I asked her. She helped organize this memorial tonight. Thank you. You walk right up for me. Introduce yourself really quick for me. I'll hold this.
Sorry.
And you'll look at me.
Hi. My name's Kaylin Miller. I was one of Kara's close best friends.
And you organized this gathering tonight. And I know I just spoke with you moments ago. It's a very emotional time. But just talk about again why you wanted to do it and what is actually happening here tonight.
Basically, here tonight, it's Kara's birthday. It's her 18th birthday today. And she was taken away from us about 3 days ago, around 1 o'clock in the morning during a hit and run. And today we're just here to celebrate her life, actually. We're here to celebrate the life she did have, because Kara, if you didn't know her, I hope you know that Kara wasn't just somebody. She was a person that had such a beautiful life and beautiful soul. Kara had such a beautiful soul to her, and she was such a kind person. She would do anything for anybody that was here at the party or anybody that even drove past. She would do anything for them.
And you all are also remembering Nate tonight.
We are also remembering Nate tonight. Nathan was Kara's boyfriend, and he was such a loving boyfriend. He was the first person to show Kara the true love she deserved, and I will forever be grateful that Nathan showed her that. And I thank you so much to Nathan's family for coming out here and supporting him and Kara, and I thank you so much for Nathan's family for just raising such a handsome and beautiful son, and such an amazing person that he could treat Kara the way she deserved to be treated.
And I know we've seen, you guys have, you share with me some artwork that the friends are doing. Tell us physically what is happening here as well. They're doing things to remember them.
Yeah, today we're going to do a candlelight vigil for her. We have a book of life almost that we're writing some memories of Kara down, some stuff that we just love about her and that we're going to miss about her. We're also, we're doing a balloon. We're trying to get balloons and doing a little balloon. If we could do that, possibly if we could get the helium to do that. And we're just today we're all gathering here to remember Kara and Nathan as a whole.
And their parents are here. What do you want them to know as well about why you guys have done this? I mean, it's a horrible thing that you have to go through. But I think it shows them also that their kids had beautiful friends who care about them.
Exactly. And I hope that that's what this shows their parents. I genuinely hope that this helps their parents get through this hard time and shows them that the people around Kara and Nathan were such a positive and loving community. And the only reason I feel like we were such that loving and positive community was because of Kara and Nathan. If you knew Kara, you would know how much of a loving soul she was. Anybody she was around, she was so very loving, and I will always be grateful for that.
And I want the focus to stay on them, but we did talk about that, police did make an arrest.
Yeah.
And, you were saying earlier that it's tough. Even with an arrest, it doesn't undo what has happened.
I feel like the person that was arrested for the crimes, I'm not going to name drop or anything. You know who you are, and all I'm going to say is that I am a follower of Jesus. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, and He forever will be, and I genuinely hope you turn to Him. I hope you turn to Jesus and repent for what you did. I hope you repent and have that change of heart and are actually sorry for what you did, because I cannot judge you. I am a sinner myself. I have no room to judge you, but all I'm going to say is that Jesus will judge you. God and Jesus will judge you, and at the right time, the right thing will be due if you do not change your heart and mind, God. I really genuinely hope you do have that change of heart and mind, because I know.
Take accountability for what they have.
I just want you to take accountability.
Well.
You had that choice to stay and call the cops, and you didn't. You just left them. So I hope you have that change of heart for what you did.
So that was the important part, that the person, police say, hit them and kept going.
Yeah.
Tonight, though, how will you all continue to remember Kara and remember Nate beyond tonight?
We'll continue to remember Kara as one of the most loving, patient, kind, and beautiful souls she was. And Nathan will always be remembered as her soulmate. Nathan will be remembered as her soulmate and somebody that gave Kara the love she deserved. I personally didn't know Nathan that much, but I did know enough to know that he was such a good person.
To her.
He was such a great person to her, and he was a good person in general. Okay. He was such a good person, and they didn't deserve this. They deserve to live their life out. And I thank you guys so much for covering this story and covering their lives, because they deserved this.
I'm not rushing you off, but I know this is very tough for you to do again, pretty girl. So thank you so much.
And I'll
let you get back to.
I hope you guys have a nice night.
Okay.
All right.
So you just heard her share. Judea, you could see how difficult this is. This community has been left with holes in their hearts. You have the family, both those young people's moms were here tonight, who we'll hear from at 10 o'clock on Fox 29, but then also this entire community of kids who have lost friends that, they have known for quite some time. The parents did also share with me that, Kara and Nick met at Freddy's. It's a restaurant that many people know that was new and opened up here, and quickly started dating. So this is just very tough for them to have to deal with this. And honestly, it's tough to be here too, just to see them in so much pain. But I think it's beautiful what these young people have done tonight on their own. The families didn't even know right away. Kara, the young lady who lost her life, her mom said that she was going through her phone and saw a group text, obviously post, losing her daughter, amongst her friends, that they were planning this. So yeah, again, from what we know, police have arrested a 23-year-old man. He's been charged, and that will obviously play out in court. But this here is something that they are going to live with for the rest of their lives.
I mean, absolutely, Shawnette. And I have to commend that young woman for the way she was able to conduct herself for that interview. Because as you mentioned, and I'm really happy that you were there with her as well, you could visibly see her shake, but you could also hear in her voice just how much passion, how much hurt is still behind it. This is very much so still fresh for everybody who is out there. And yes, as you said, we've got this arrest, but you don't have your two loved ones. So, how much more can you
And
do?
I don't know if you caught it, but there also today would have been Kara, her 18th birthday. So, her life was taken just days before she turned 18 years old. She had, I think her mom said, graduated early, so she was in college. Nate, her boyfriend who was killed, he's a senior, so he would have been graduating. He would have been taking senior pictures in high school, and now that's none of this is going to happen for them. So I think the tough part for them, as I've been talking to them, is that we never understand why people leave a scene, and there are many reasons, and there's an investigation going on, so I'm not going to repeat too much of what's been said out here. That has to come from police, but people struggle with you don't know if you can help if you just stop. You don't know. So that's the tough part for them.
Yeah, there it is right there. Another thing that I want to say, in addition to the ways you could have helped when everything happened, there's ways that you can help right now. We've been showing the GoFundMes as you've been talking, as that young woman had her interview as well. We're throwing them up one more time for you guys. Family and friends, they've put together a GoFundMe for both Nathan. As you can see how much money it raised there. You can also see they've also put one together for Kara. So, Shawnette, thank you so much for your reporting on this. I know it's a very sensitive subject, so we'll leave it there, but we'll pick things back up with you in about 10 o'clock hour, right?
Yep. Thank you,
Okay.
Judea.
No problem. All right, you guys coming back here to me in studio from one heavy story to another. Our helicopter right now is flying over the scene of what was a massive fire yesterday. This used to be a local business that you're looking at, and now it is completely decimated. So you can still see that there are first responders on the scene, just trying to make sure, obviously, that the fire is completely out, that people aren't coming into that space, because right now it's not considered safe. We've got live visuals over this right now. Again, this was a fire that happened yesterday at the Superior Play Systems. It's a playground equipment supplier in the 2500 block of Industry Lane in West Norriton. It happened again sometime yesterday. Firefighters rushed out to that scene at around 11:30 a.m. There was heavy fire, heavy black smoke that filled the air. It was a 4-alarm fire with about 130 trucks responding, including Jefferson Fire Company, Collegeville, and Upper Marion Fire. Now today, as you can see, it is a completely different scene, a lot quieter out there, but also all of that equipment, that product, that entire local business is now burned down to the ground. So we're going to keep our eyes on the situation in terms of what rebuilding there would look like, how long it would take, if that's even in the cards for the people who work there. Again, we'll try to bring you all the latest on this, but this is live imagery coming from our Skyfox flying over that scene right now. Now from there, I want to get you a live look at your forecast. We're going to keep you up to date with everything that's happening in real time. You're taking a live look out at the beautiful city of Philadelphia. Our meteorologist, Kathy Orr, is on standby for us. Kathy, yesterday was wild when it came down to weather, and it seems like today is a little calmer.
Judea, I'm sorry, I can't hear you, but I can hear your producer, and I'll
Okay.
just tell you what's going on in the weather. We're talking about some clearing skies out there with temperatures that are right around 70 degrees, so it's pretty comfortable. On Ultimate Doppler, we have a few lingering showers down at the Jersey Shore, but elsewhere, conditions are beginning to clear. So we're seeing breaks in the clouds, and in many locations, we'll see some sunshine before sunset. So that's the good news in this forecast. As we go through the next couple of hours, these lingering showers in Cape May County and Atlantic County will move offshore, and we'll be seeing some drying conditions. You can see right now, though, I mean, it looks like nightfall with all the cloud cover, gloomy conditions. That is Ocean City, Cape May County at the Music Pier. Temperatures I mentioned around 70 degrees, and we went up a few degrees in the city where we've seen some breaks in the clouds. 67 in Millville and 68 in Doylestown. Dew point temperatures, that's that amount of moisture in the atmosphere, and it is measured in temperature. When you see dew point temperatures in the 60s, that's still sticky, and you can even feel it in the air at our station here. Even in the studio in the Weather Center, I can feel that sticky moisture. That will be going away overnight and during the day tomorrow. So overnight lows will be in the 60s. Tomorrow's highs will be very comfortable in the 80s, and the wind is northwesterly, so that means those temperatures down the shore will not be impacted by the ocean. It will be a land breeze, so they will be just as warm as areas to the north and west inland. So that's good news if you want to head down the shore. What about our FIFA forecast for Thursday? Right now, it looks pitch perfect. In the morning, it will be pleasant with lots of sun. By the time we kick it off, we'll see temperatures that will be in the upper 80s, increasing clouds during the match. And by the final whistle, which will be around 6:30, 7 o'clock, temperatures will still be in the 80s. So they will definitely need those hydration breaks. Best chance of rain will come Thursday night into Friday, and then again a chance of showers and thunderstorms on Saturday. That is troublesome because that would be our next match at Philadelphia Stadium. So we could be in for more of a wait because of thunderstorm delays. So we'll keep you updated on that. In the meantime, heading down the shore, I'll be down there for our shows tomorrow afternoon. I'll be in Margate. Be a pleasant day, the temperature near 80. Then by the time Friday rolls around, a pop-up storm and a better chance of showers for Saturday. So on our 7-day forecast, we have 80s next couple of days, still 80s on Friday, but a chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms, and then another chance Saturday. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday look stellar. And I want to show you the 10-day trend because this takes us toward the 4th of July holiday weekend. Take a look at those last 3 days. The 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of July will be our next heat wave. Heat wave number 4 of the year, but only first of the summer season. That's a precursor to what we expect over the holiday. I think it's going to be hot.
Kathy, I hope you can hear me now. Thank you so much for giving us a look at what's going on out there. Also getting us ready for those of us who want to get out and have a good time and catch the FIFA World Cup games later on this week. Thursday, as she said to you guys, Team USA is planned. It's going to be a big one. Again, Kathy, we appreciate you. All right, you guys, no problem. Let's keep the ball rolling with some of our biggest stories of the day. You may know, Phillies are playing right now. They're taking on the Washington Nationals. This is game 2. And it looks like, unfortunately, we don't have anything on the board yet. No, but the Nationals, they've got one. This is the middle of the 3rd. So now we're in the bottom of the 3rd. You know, still a lot of baseball to be played. We're hoping that the score settles out a little later on. I do believe, though, in our last game against the Nationals, we also lost. So, you know, we're hoping for some better jujus. I'm Judea. I'm bringing you the jujus. some better luck for the rest of the night. We'll be checking in with our sports team to get you your live updates on everything that's happening with FIFA World Cup, everything that's happening with the Phillies, and you probably know this, but the NBA draft is tonight, too. That kicks off at 8 o'clock, and we're just crossing our fingers, waiting patiently to see who the Sixers pick up, and will they be the next big thing in the NBA? Who knows? We'll be touching base again with our sports team and everything that's happening with all of those different sports when we come back. Hey guys, welcome back into Philadelphia Live. You're taking a live look at some of our stadiums around the North America region. We're doing it big for FIFA World Cup, but hold on. Toronto, how are you gonna outdo us like this? Their stadium is so cool. They literally got a game ball. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Vancouver. It's Vancouver. Canada still. But anyway, you know, they've got a game ball on the top of their stadium. Incredible. Okay, so that's what's going on in Vancouver. We also have a live look at LAX. This is, LAX, Los Angeles Stadium, where Team USA will be playing on Thursday. And then, of course, we had to bring you a live look at Philadelphia Stadium as well. You know, maybe not as cool, but still, we're playing some really good matches here. And speaking of Los Angeles Stadium and Team USA, we caught a glimpse of them practicing a little earlier on. The U.S. men's soccer team is getting a little bit of that practice in just ahead of this big match against Turkey on Thursday. I think the biggest headline coming from practice today was that we've got Christian Pulisic back. I mean, he's our star player. He's back on the pitch. Who knows what Thursday could bring for us? Keep in mind that this is a knockout stage. The game starts 10 p.m. at Los Angeles Stadium Thursday. And that's where I bring in our sports team's Marcus Beasley. Marcus, I know Team USA, they got a lot cooking, but what's really at stake for them on Thursday?
All right, well, just a couple of things. First off, Christian Pulisic, yes, he did participate in practice today. He actually participated in practice yesterday, so this is the second day where he's had like a normal sequence of practice with the team, which is still a good sign. And then second, this match against Turkey on Thursday, it actually is still part of their group stage. So U.S. have already won their group, which is obviously a huge plus after beating Paraguay as well as Australia. So this match is more just for kind of like some reps with the players, maybe resting some guys that have yellow cards that may have been on the fence in terms of injury and whatnot. So there's not a whole lot at stake. It's more just for, again, reps and bragging rights, maybe I would guess. But still, the team is looking great. This is their last group stage match before they enter the knockout stage, which as of now they are slated to play July 1st in, I believe it's San Francisco that they're playing. Their opponent is still TBD since there's still a good amount of matches. But yeah, Team USA looking great so far.
Okay, Team USA looking good so far, repeating everything that you say. Let's move on to some of our matches today to get everybody up to date with everything that's gone on. Earlier, Cristiano Ronaldo made a big historic move. We'll get into more of it later, but I mean, are you a fan? Like, can you talk to us about how people were reacting?
Oh, people went crazy. I mean, you saw people go crazy for Messi when he got the hat trick last week and we got a couple goals yesterday. But Ronaldo, he was amazing. And there were a lot of people that were in Portugal that were cheering, as well as other watch parties. And as you can see, Cristiano Ronaldo, the first player to score in 6 World Cups today. He had scored twice today. But yeah, this is dating all the way back to 2006. It's been an amazing run for Ronaldo. But yeah, he had an amazing goal early on. He had a chance for a second goal early, but he actually on a free kick let a teammate score for him. And then the second goal for Cristiano Ronaldo, it was off of a breakaway. So he's had some pretty amazing highlights today. But yeah, an amazing historic run that he's been on. And yes, like Messi making history yesterday, Ronaldo made some history himself.
And I remember yesterday I got to talk with Breland a little bit more too about everything that's been going on. We talked about Mbappe and just like thinking about the little kids who are in the stadium who are lucky enough to get a seat. But those little kids who are getting to see like their hero play right in front of them, that has to be insane for Americans.
Absolutely. I mean, it's something that American with kids that like are aspiring to be soccer players, it's definitely something for them to look up to as well, not just here but all over the world. So good on them. But yeah, it's been an amazing World Cup, I would say, so far. So for the youth, for teenagers, for fans of all ages, it's been amazing.
And a couple of minutes ago, about 25 minutes ago, Panama should have gotten started with their match against Croatia. It looks like they have begun, but it also looks like nobody has scored just yet. Looking forward to some of the other sports that are going on. I know the Phillies have a game tonight. we also looked at that score, and it kind of looked like Nationals were up 1. We had zip, and if we look at what happened yesterday, it's not really a good pattern. But how are you feeling about how we could come out on top?
I'm not too worried about it because, like the last time we spoke yesterday, it's still early. I mean, yeah, yesterday was a low-scoring game, not a lot of offense from the Phillies. Also, there was a lot of unknowns when it came to the pitching, with Alan Runhell making his second MLB appearance. But today, I'm a little more confident. Jesus Luzardo is on the mound. He's been pretty much lights out. Keep in mind, the only reason that they scored was because of a fielder's choice ground out. I mean, Luzardo had a couple of men on base, and he forced a double play, but of course one of the runners was on third, so they traded 2 outs for a run. But that's the only offense in this game so far, so I'm not too worried about it. The offense do need to wake up a bit. Unfortunately, they're going to have to do it without Kyle Schwarber. A few minutes before the first pitch today, he actually was scratched due to lower back tightness, so Edmundo Sosa is now designated hitter for today, as well as Brandon Marsh has moved up to batting second. So unfortunately, no Schwarber today. It doesn't seem like it'll be anything to worry about as of now, especially since it was a late game scratch or last minute scratch. But yeah, I mean, it's still early. Phillies have a good pitcher on the mound, so I mean, the next time you talk with us, I'm pretty confident it'll be more in the Phillies' favor when it comes to the scoring.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. We'll see. And last but not least, everybody is talking about the NBA draft. In about 30 minutes or so, we should be getting underway with that. I mean, like, help me prep for it. What are we looking forward to? Is there anybody who they're already looking at could potentially be the first round draft pick, first pick?
Well, in terms of the first overall pick, AJ Dianessa is a big consideration, as well as I believe it's Darren Peterson. Both of those guys are kind of going back and forth as to who's going to be the 1 and the 2. You also have Cam Boozer. He's also considered to be a top 5 draft pick. So those are more of the stars. On the Sixers side, they are the 22nd draft pick. There's a few on their end that they could possibly pick up if the players fall back in the draft. Guys like Chris Sinak, a forward from Houston. You got Koa Pete from Arizona, who's a forward. Alan Graves from Santa Clara is a forward. Also Dylan Swain, he's a guard from Texas. So there's a few different options for the Sixers as well. But yeah, it's interesting because the first part of the draft, obviously the first 5, first 10 is usually when the stars from NCAA, but a lot of the times for guys like, or teams like the Sixers that were in the playoffs and are in the later parts of the draft, their main focus is picking up a key piece here and there. And thankfully they have this pick. Before, they didn't originally have a draft pick until they made that Jared McCain trade. So the Sixers are going to be a little in the far back, the last third of the first round. So we'll just have to wait and see if they're able to pick. Or they could trade up, they could trade back. I mean, it's Mike Yancey's first year with the Sixers, being in control of the draft room. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Okay, wait, hold on. When you say trade up, what are you talking about?
I'm sorry.
There? Break it down
So
for me.
when I say trade up, I mean teams that could possibly make a deal to move higher in the draft. Like, they're right now at 22. They could make a deal to where they may trade a draft pick or a player to move up to, let's say, 20 or 15. Anything higher would be an arm and a leg to cost the Sixers. So that's what I mean by trading up, is giving up something to where they could pick sooner rather than later. Or trade back, meaning they get some better pieces, maybe a star from another team, in which the Sixers give up their 22nd pick and either pick later in the first draft or not in the first draft at all. So that's what it means when I say to trade down.
Okay, so really, we have an idea of what could potentially happen, at least for the first, I'll say 30 minutes of the draft, but really anything can happen is what you're telling me.
Yes. I mean, the draft is completely unpredictable, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, all right, we're looking forward to it. Again, you guys, that starts at 8 o'clock. We'll try to bring you the latest of who's been picked, who's still waiting, and I don't think, I got to talk to you, Marcus, a little before the show. We don't think that we'll hear the Sixers make their pick anytime during this live stream, but hopefully during the 10 o'clock news, maybe we'll have an update for you guys.
Absolutely.
All right, Marcus, thank you. Thank you. Now, as Marcus has alluded to, we talked about it just a little bit, Cristiano Ronaldo made history again. This was a massive move. I want to get into it with you guys. We brought an article up about it on, I believe it's Fox Sports, who's put out some information for us. But again, Ronaldo became the first soccer player to score in 6 different World Cup tournaments today by getting 2 goals in Portugal's 5-0 win over Uzbekistan. In the 6th minute, he scored the history-making goal. Immediately after that, he ran toward the bench and celebrated with his teammates. He scored again in the 39th minute, and the crowd went absolutely wild, and he was named man of the match. He's been doing pretty good out there. The goals make him the 2nd oldest player to score at a World Cup. And before you go Google his age, because I did see on Google, like literally everybody was looking for this, he's 41 years old. So he's not old, but he's the oldest player to do this. Today's match was the 230th game in his international career, which another big feat. This is his 230th game ever played in his international career, which is also historic. And this is also likely to be the last World Cup that he plays in. So as I was telling Marcus before, we were chit-chatting about it. I mean, think about how amazing this is for the little ones, the little kids who were lucky enough to see their favorite player play, like literally right in front of their faces, making history over and over and winning. Like, this, incredible. So glad that we got to go over some of the other things that are coming out of here. We have been keeping up with not only the fans, but also some local business owners. Our mayor, a couple of other leaders here in the city of Philadelphia, they promised that bringing the FIFA World Cup here would mean doing numbers for our local economy. So we checked in with those business owners just to see how successful has business been. Check it out.
They stuffed the stadium, took over the art museum, and raided Reading Terminal Market. So how is Philly doing halfway through the World Cup matches?
It's been really exceptional.
Meg Kane, who's been directing the Philadelphia side of the FIFA World Cup, says 6 years of planning is paying off. Philly Fan Fest has been the most attended of any U.S. host city, peaking at 55,000 people on several days. Hotels are reporting higher occupancy 3 days in, and the city is scoring big.
This is such a nice dynamic of, validation for what the city has done over the last 25 years to elevate itself to a global, a cosmopolitan city. And then our residents, reading this and going, wow, this is really where we live. And how cool is that people are recognizing that.
Another success, SEPTA. For Friday night's match, the Beeline carried more than 29,000 passengers home and cleared the station within an hour and 15 minutes. It was the 2nd highest ridership of all time, next to the 2025 NFC Championship. They still have 3 more matches.
When you have something like a huge Eagles game or even the parade, it's kind of all in for one day, and making sure that you're able to tackle that event. This is more of a marathon.
Around Center City and Lemon Hill, businesses are seeing an uptick. The World Cup was on TV at Pete's Famous Pizza, where they haven't seen these kinds of crowds in the 25 years they've been open.
Very busy, but very funny, because they come from everywhere.
Even on a Tuesday afternoon, the bar at Bishop's Collar was filled with World Cup fans. It's clear soccer is good for business.
It's good. It's great for the neighborhood. We're used to events that last a day, and then it's over. So we're all just kind of getting used to keeping it rolling.
An impact study will be conducted after the World Cup to determine the economic success. But officials say if what we saw over the past 2 weeks is any indication, it's already a World Cup win.
Overall, this is an incredible mix of, vibrancy that's coming to the city at the time where Welcome America is happening, where we're anticipating the 4th of July, and I think it's just building momentum.
So, I mean, you're hearing from the businesses. I also hear that SEPTA's been doing pretty well. Ridership is up. And keep in mind, they've also got that flash bus that's going around bringing people from all the different sites to FIFA Fan Fest. So I can only imagine how much money they're making there as well. So good stuff, City of Philadelphia. Let's keep it going. We got more games ahead. Can't wait to see how the numbers increase when we get to the 4th of July weekend, because it's going to be a zoo here. All right, you guys, that was Chris O'Connell reporting for us on the business success and how business owners are feeling right here in our city. We're going to keep the ball rolling on some of our biggest news of the day. First and foremost, I heard there was a problem at Disneyland where a kid actually fell. We're talking about tens and tens of feet down a whole plunge. We'll get into how that happened, how they're doing now when we come back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. You're taking a look at some video that our Skyfox helicopter was able to bring back into us here in the studio. You guys are taking a look at a business that burned down just yesterday. We're hearing that they made playground equipment and that actually pretty close to this site, children are always in the area playing. So again, when this happened, we saw that fire rip through the roof of the building. We saw heavy black smoke clouds billowing into the skies. Today it is a completely different scene. I'm hearing that crews are on the scene of this. You've got first responders, but you also have some crews that are kind of deconstructing and it's a demolition scene here. They're tearing down whatever was left of the building. So if you are familiar with the area, this is West Norriton here in Pennsylvania. This was the Superior Play Systems, that playground equipment supplier that's located on the 2500 block of Industry Lane. At around 11:30 a.m. yesterday, a huge, massive fire ripped through the building. It was a 4-alarm assignment. About 130 trucks responded to the scene, including Jefferson Fire Company, Collegeville, Upper Marion Fire, and more. Again, we're not quite sure what caused this. We just know it was very, very big, and now you can see how it's ending up. We're not quite sure if the plan here is to demolish it and then try to rebuild business, or they're gonna just tear it down and it'll be an empty plot. Not quite sure what's next for them, but trust and believe that we here at Fox 29 Philadelphia will try to keep you up to date on what's going on there. Now let's bring our attention out to the west side of the United States. out in Disneyland. May have heard of Tiana's Bayou. This is representative of Princess and the Frog. Well, there was a ride there. It's a log ride that has a 50-foot drop, and we're hearing that a 13-year-old guest actually plunged down that 50-foot drop. They had to be rushed to the hospital. This is obviously why they were on a moving boat. It's not quite sure. It's not quite clear whether maybe they weren't strapped in all the way or how they were able to get loose and fall down. But that is the situation that we're hearing about there. One of our sister stations in California is trying to keep you all up to date with the latest. If we get more information on what happened there, I'll try to bring it out to you. But all we have so far is that this is a 13-year-old who was rushed to the hospital. The ride had to be shut down while the investigation was going on. It looks like the ride was allowed to return to normal operations by the next day. This all took place June 21st, so just 2 days ago. It seems like we keep telling you guys too about some of the craziest things happening at these amusement park rides. Last time I was with you guys, I believe we were taking a look at it wasn't a roller coaster, but one of those rides that like turns you around, and it got stuck. And there were dozens of kids just trapped on that ride for a couple of hours there. I remember there was another time where we were taking a live look at, I think this was in California, and it was a roller coaster that had gotten stuck right before the big drop. Those passengers had to be rescued as well. So, I'm not proud to be able to bring you stories like this, but I'm seeing a pattern in some of our biggest amusement park rides. Let's move on to some things happening closer to home. I hear there was an arrest made in the West Philadelphia mass shooting, and this was a deadly shooting. It left 2 people dead, 3 people injured. The suspect in this case, his name is Marquise Andrews, and officials say he was arrested and charged for what they believe was his role in this mass shooting that took place on March 30th. Both Paul Cobb and Nasir Boyd, 24-year-old, they were killed in the shooting. Again, 3 other people were injured. Police say that the suspect, they believe he opened fire on a crowd full of people. It's not quite clear if he had a target in mind, but still, he was taken into custody earlier today. He was taken to the Philadelphia Detention Center, to the homicide unit, and he'll be facing charges for what they believe he did in this particular case. The other people who were injured were all men, ages 35, 36, and 55. We do not have any other identifying information, so no names, but that's the latest that the police were able to give us. We're also hearing about some updates in a case that we now believe to be arson. Philadelphia Police Department has been investigating this house fire that left a couple of people dead in the 25th district. It's now been ruled both an arson and a homicide. So they believe that someone intentionally set these fires and it resulted in deaths. So on Monday, at approximately about 12:53 p.m., the 25th District police officers, they responded to a call that people were trapped in the homes that you see them rushing to and working on and trying to get the paneling off and the windows out of right there on your screen. The victim, later identified as 69-year-old Barry Turner, lived at this particular place. He was pronounced dead on the scene by 2:09 p.m. Now, following the investigation, the fire marshal looked into it and believed this to be a case of arson. And they ended up finding a woman, a 38-year-old woman who hasn't been named yet. She had been arrested in connection with the incident. She's facing charges of murder, arson, and a couple of other offenses. Formal charges, though, are still pending further investigation. I'm also seeing, I don't know how much you guys know about pill mills and some of how these scams work, but officials are telling us that there's been a trio of 3 people arrested in what they're calling a pill mill scam. So doctors, 2 of them, and a physician assistant, they've been criminally charged for running an illegal pill mill conspiracy. They say that they used an automated voicemail system in order to unlawfully distribute powerful, highly addictive schedule to controlled substances. More specifically, we're talking about oxycodone, and we're also talking about amphetamine, in order to get these drugs out to as many people as possible. So people who have been arrested: Dr. Joseph P. D'Arienzo Jr., he's 64 years old, from Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. He's been charged with conspiracy and 2 counts of unlawful drug distribution. We've also got Dr. Mark A. Matoko, 56 years old, of Woodbury, New Jersey. He's been charged with conspiracy and 2 counts of unlawful drug distribution as well. And then last but not least, I think I may have one of the names not correct, so I won't read that third one for you all. But again, they're saying they used voicemails in order to get their clients. They try to push as many drugs as possible to them, according to officials. And they also deceived pharmacies, according to officials. They say when certain pharmacies would notice some of the patterns, would refuse to give them the prescription drugs, the defendants would then resubmit them to another pharmacy, just basically trying to look, according to officials, look for whoever would actually fill the prescription and give them what they needed in order to continue running their business. So the local case, it was part of the Department of Justice's decision to take them down, and yeah, it's a whole bigger case here, but that's the latest that we've got there on that. Let's take a look at our time now. It's 7:46. All right, we got some time to bring a couple of other stories your way. So if you live in the Philadelphia area, more specifically Northeast Philadelphia, if you use Route 13, you need to know this: the warning period for those speed cameras in the area is ending. That means starting Friday, you will be charged if they catch you speeding. You're gonna get a ticket and a fine. Philadelphia Parking Authority announced that this 60-day warning period that a lot of us have been using and abusing is officially over. And again, on Friday, they say that those automated speed cameras that are along Route 13 in Northeast Philadelphia are going to start producing fines for you all if you are caught, in violation. So if you are driving just 11 miles per hour over the speed limit in the area, you will be ticketed. The fines right now, we're looking at $100 for traveling 11 to 19 miles per hour over the speed limit, or $125 if you are traveling 20 to 29 miles per hour over the speed limit, which I do believe is a super speeder. And then they've got $150 for 30 plus miles per hour. No points will be assigned to your driver's license just yet. That official ticketing, once again, will begin Friday, June 26th at 12:01 a.m. Don't get caught slipping. And then last but not least, this is about your drinks. If you guys like looking at the nutrition labels and seeing what types of ingredients are in some of your sodas, a couple of different brands say they will no longer be providing that, at least not in the way you're used to. So major drink companies like Coke, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, they are going to start showing you their ingredient list only after you scan a QR code. It's not just going to be printed on the label on the can itself. This move is being led by the American Beverage Association. So some of the companies participating, I named a couple: Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, Coke, Monster Energy is another one, and Red Bull is another one. The QR codes will guide you to their website. It's going to be goodtoknowfacts.org. And then from there, you'll see all of the ingredients commonly found in the beverage of your choice, whatever one you're looking at. Pepsi has already started linking its beverages. Coca-Cola is expected to start this as well this month. Keurig Dr. Pepper plans to get in on this later on in the year. So just keep all of this in mind, everything that's going on. This initiative comes as the Trump administration is calling for greater transparency surrounding food ingredient safety. So that's a little bit of what's happening in our neck of the woods, some of our national stories, also things that may affect the next drink you pick up and how you know what's in it. We'll be back right after this with some of our trending stories of the day. I want to know what you guys have been looking into, reading, watching, scrolling and seeing on social media. We'll also give you our question of the night. It's a good one. We'll be right back. Welcome back into Philadelphia Live. I'm Jade Murray. This is Jake Leonard.
Hey.
Hey. I've got a big question for you all. And Jake, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Is there any circumstance in which you could ever see it would be necessary to sue a family member? Like, would you be able to do it?
You know, yes, I
You got a
could.
yes in the back.
It would depend on the situation, but I don't think I can say I would 100% never sue a family member.
You're not ready to make that
No.
blanket statement.
What about you?
I think, I mean, I got a whole lot of thoughts about this. The answer is yes.
Okay.
The answer is yes. And I'll get into it a whole lot more later on. But one thing that I think we need to stop doing as a society is giving people passes just because you are family, just because you are
Yes.
blood.
Yes.
And again, as you said, it really depends
Right.
on the situation.
Right.
But we need to stop letting things skirt
Right.
under the rug
Yes.
and not letting people, like, you know, take
Yes.
responsibility for their
Yes.
actions just because they're family.
Yes.
Okay, so I bring all this
Okay.
up because I was scrolling, as I do on social media, and there's this guy who's been making video after video after video. Long story short, he says he was chilling at grandma's house.
Okay.
And grandma, just a little bit of a bigger woman.
Okay.
He was on the floor. He says that she was laying on her bed. I don't know if she was trying to maneuver, get up, or what, but she slipped off the belt and fell on him, and she broke his femur.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So he says the medical bills have been way too much. He does have
Okay.
his own insurance, but they've been piling up. He's asked his grandma if she could help out, and I guess
Right.
she said no. And his family members say, you should not have asked her anyway.
What?
And they don't want to help either. And so he reached out through her insurance company to get it all
Right,
paid for
right.
and is considering a lawsuit.
Okay.
And so some people were like, you can't sue your family. You
Right.
can't sue grandma.
Right.
But then other people are like, well, yeah, you can. So I just wanted to know what you guys think.
Yeah, super interesting discussion that we're having. So we wanted you, the viewers, to weigh in. So we ran a poll, fox29.com/go vote. Always, always, always Fox Local tab. And so we said, when it comes to lawsuits, is family off limits? So as you can see, currently no is in the lead, 60%, and then yes. Oh,
Wow.
oh, it's changing. It's changing.
70%.
No, 70%. Yes, 20%. Other, leave a comment, 10%. So I'm looking at those comments on social media. Jamil commented, just one of those GIFs, someone shaking their head. And then Joseph said, family is definitely not off limits. They're usually the first ones to, let's just say, blank you over. So people have really strong feelings about this.
I mean, it's kind of what I was getting at there.
Yeah.
So there are plenty of different situations that could arise where you don't want to encourage people to
Right.
sue your family.
No.
But like, let me throw some scenarios
Right.
out there. You can say whether you would do it or not.
Okay.
But you are driving, your cousin backs into you. They, mess up your fender, your
Right.
rear end or whatever. It's bad, and they don't want to pay. Would you sue them?
I don't know if I would sue them. I would definitely do something.
Yeah.
Definitely take it to insurance at the
Yeah.
very least.
Okay. This isn't a lawsuit, but a family member steals from you. Let's say something worth $10,000 or more. Press charges or not?
10,000 is 10,000.
10,000 is 10,000. That is a felony.
As we were having this conversation, I had a thought pop into my mind. It's interesting that we're bringing this up because in the recent months, weeks, there's a pretty big story going on mainly on TikTok because it involves a pretty big TikTok star, Charli D'Amelio. You probably have heard of her.
Yeah, I have.
Yes, she is in the midst of some sort of lawsuit with her parents because I guess when she was like underage, because obviously she started TikTok when she was like 15 or 16, and they were like in charge of her finances. They were like stealing money that was like supposed to be in like her account or something like that, and they were putting it in their account. So that is to me a situation where yes, you need to press charges like that. Is just because it's your parents, like they shouldn't be doing that.
This is back to the responsibility thing that I was mentioning before.
Right.
And just in case any of you guys are like, Charli D'Amelio, I don't know the name, huge TikToker, like especially during the pandemic when a lot of other people were just starting out TikTok and the dances.
Yes, one of the most famous TikTok people. Honestly, I would say like one of the OG helped make TikTok popular. So,
yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, I actually think she might be local to our area, not South Jersey, but I want to say she's from New Jersey.
There's some sort of
she's very close.
Connection. Yeah.
She's very close. Wow. Well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I know we were going to get into some trending topics too. You know, FIFA World Cup is really big for us. We've been keeping our eyes on all the matches that are happening. Got a live look at Philadelphia Stadium as well. Again, a lot going on. Real quick, Jake, I know you guys have been looking at what's trending on Google, what some of our viewers are interested in seeing. In addition to the game, anything stood out to you?
Yeah, so this is really interesting. I brought this up at our meeting earlier, and everyone was like, oh, huh. Mm-hmm. Basically, you know, I feel like in this day and age, something that's a big trend all of a sudden are these like blind boxes. So like these little like companies do like, you know, like little figurines or action figures, and then like a lot of people go online and they're like, oh my gosh, this is the one I got. I don't know, it's like it's become super popular in the last couple of years. I have done it a few times. Honestly, it is fun being like, oh, what am I gonna get? But a pretty big company took a completely different approach to this. So Aldi, Aldi, the grocery store, announced they're doing blind boxes. So this right now is pulled up their page. So basically the way that they're doing it, it's this week only. So from the 22nd all the way to the 25th, basically a new Aldi blind box will be released every day. So to get it at noon, you go onto their website to claim a box. They're free. Each day it's a different theme, and then you can get it shipped to you. So basically you got to look at their Instagram to see like what the themes are and whatnot. But I think it's really interesting. They actually have 4 different categories. They have the snack blind box, which as you can imagine is just like a bunch of, you know, like chips and pretzels and stuff like that. They have the fiber blind box, which is, you know, a bunch of fiber stuff. They have protein. And then they have the mystery blind box. So you literally have no idea what's going to be in it. Maybe it'll be a combination of the previous 3. But I think this is really interesting. And I think it's a really good marketing thing. You know, like
I was going to say, whoever's on the marketing team needs a raise, because this is a great idea.
Yes. I mean, it's like they're free, but you know it's going to bring a lot of people to Aldi and get a lot of people spending money. So I think it's super fun. And so I have to ask, which out of the 4 boxes would you try to get?
Snack box for sure.
Yeah.
I'm a huge snacker.
Yes.
I'm a huge snacker. Yeah, that would be the one. And hopefully I'll get something good, because there's also a lot of stuff that I don't like.
Yes.
Like I'm not a good big chocolate person.
Yes. I am like someone who like I always feel like a little bit guilty like buying snacks, because as soon as they're in their house, I'm gonna go snack crazy. But I feel like if I got the snack blind box, I'd be like, this is different. This is fun. Like I can treat myself. So.
Love to see it. It's pretty cool stuff that's going on. Jake, I'm hoping that we'll get some time later on to check in with you about some other trending topics, because this was fun. I also want to keep posing that question for you all, because I see that you're interested in voting in our poll.
Interested.
Yeah. You guys, we're going to take a quick step back. We got a lot more news to bring to you all. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back into Philadelphia Live, you guys. New Jersey, the state of New Jersey already has some of the strictest regulations, rules for e-bikes on the road, but not a lot of people know about them. We're hearing that there may be some confusion, people just trying to figure out, what do I need to know, what can I not do, what can I do, and it doesn't help that pretty soon I'm hearing that we'll also have some more coming our way, some more rules and regulations. Things over to Alex George. She's gotten out to the street. She's been talking to the people, talking to our leaders. What have you been able to gather?
Okay, so in the state of New Jersey earlier this year, there was a law passed that says on July 19th of 2026, we are going to see restrictions for e-bikes. Now, I think the confusion that you're referring to is regarding that, which means that there are certain people that are going to have to register for licenses. You have to be over the age of 15. There are new rules when it comes to owning an e-bike in New Jersey, and that is statewide. We did hear a little bit about some confusion, but today we're actually focused on what that means for municipalities. So in a township like Morristown Township, where we are today, they just passed an ordinance last night, and that ordinance actually adds a little bit more clarity to what the state has already outlined. So the state basically said you need to be this age to own an e-bike, you need to be going this miles per hour, or you're considered into another class of e-bikes. And here in Morristown, they have now said you have to be wearing a helmet, and we are creating an ordinance that governs the sort of guidelines around conduct of e-bikes. So what that really means is, where can I ride it? When can I ride it? What do I have to do? What roads are safe? And that's what Morristown is doing here, and that's what we're talking about tonight, is how a lot of this will go towards the municipalities to make the rules for riders. A lot of times today, you're out and about, even in Philadelphia, I'm sure you see it too, there are e-bikes everywhere. Sometimes they're on sidewalks, they're on streets, sometimes they're doing tricks, sometimes they're just getting from point A to point B. But the problem is, they say they see a rise in incidents related to the safety of e-bikes. So the purpose of this is to at least provide a little bit of guidance as to what they are hoping riders will do. They're not taking away e-bikes, they're simply asking that you wear a helmet, and that when you're on township roads, at least township sidewalks, you do not ride the e-bike. So something here like Main Street in Morristown, they do not want people going 30 miles an hour on an e-bike down Main Street, which is one of their highly trafficked pedestrian areas. Now, of course, as in many townships, there are township roads and there are county roads. And for those county roads, they actually have an exception where you will be allowed to ride at under 10 miles an hour or 10 miles an hour. That way you aren't forced to go onto a county road that often leads to a highway. Another precaution for the safety of these riders. But it is interesting in the larger scale of what is going on in New Jersey with these e-bikes that July 19th will be a big day when all of these restrictions and guidances really come into place.
Alex, this may be a silly question, but how would I know the difference of what kind of road I'm on? Do they look different?
Listen, it's a fair question, just because a lot of people here in Morristown are from Morristown and they'll be riding in the town they're from. So it's one of those things where there's a guidance on the website as to what roads there are, but there aren't too many of them. As someone who's from Morristown, you can pretty much know because it's the ones that lead to the highway. I think on their website it's 3 different roads. So it'll be in most towns, if they decide to enact something else like this, it will be listed somewhere. On Morristown, it's on their township website, the roads they're talking about. But, you know, selfishly, I can just say, as somebody who's from here, you would know it's the ones that go to the highway.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, now you guys know where to go look. Now, again, Alex, I know you've been hitting the pavement, like literally talking to everybody you could. Can you just give us an idea of who you were able to hear from?
Absolutely. We talked to the mayor of Morristown tonight, and like I said, this ordinance was passed last night, so this is very fresh, and we got to hear from him. What was the mindset behind this? What caused it? What was the conversation happening from your citizens? And he was able to tell us that one of the things that even spurred this on was a citizen coming forth at town council and saying, I was actually hit by these e-bikes on a sidewalk. Wow. And that was one of the reasons they really started looking into what can we do about this, especially with this law coming down from the state that provides more about registrations and licenses. It doesn't say anything about the guidance of conduct, and so that's what they were hoping to address here. Another thing he said is that he wants kids to have fun. He wants them to be able to play on these e-bikes if they have them, but helmets and safety are important. So they very specifically didn't rule out doing tricks and all these things in the town. It's simply on a public sidewalk where there are pedestrians. So it's really a matter for them, as he said, of doing this safely, not taking away the fun at all, but just making sure that everyone can be safe, the riders and pedestrians.
Alex, thank you for bringing this perspective on it, doing the hard work, the homework of trying to figure out what's going on here. As we here have been reporting for Fox 29, there are just way too many e-bike scooter incidents of, crashes or even deaths, unfortunately, in some of these cases. So to get some more clarity on what's actually happening for New Jerseyans, I think it's great. Again, thank you, Alex. We'll see you again in that 10 o'clock hour with some more updates and details, right?
Thank you. Sounds good.
All right. All right, you guys, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, I've got a crazy story to tell you all about. We heard sometime yesterday and then get confirmation today that 2 clergy members, we're talking about 2 pastors local to our area, have been charged with some sex crimes that involve children. We'll get into it when we come back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray, and I have a little bit of disturbing news to share with you all. We're hearing that 2 Philadelphia pastors have been charged in relation to some sexual abuse and exploitation of minors. They had been charged, they had been arrested, they are now both out on bail. I want to get you guys more information about this. District Attorney Larry Krasner held a press conference where he went into some of the details. I'm going to let you know right now, this press conference was extremely long, so I cut it into 2 different sections. We'll start with the first one, go to a commercial break, and then we'll play the rest for you. So let's start with part 1.
This is an unusual press conference for us for a couple of reasons. One reason is the topic. This is a very difficult topic to talk about in ways that are protective of victims, vulnerable victims who have suffered terribly. It's also about a pending case, and you have to exercise care when you talk about a pending case to make sure it doesn't in any way make more difficult the proceedings that are to come. And then it is also a very active investigation, an investigation that is not complete. And I want to say right up front, one of the reasons that we are doing this press conference, despite the challenges, is to give out some phone numbers. These are phone numbers that are available to people who may be witnesses in this or possibly related cases, who may even have been victims, if any, in relation to the 2 defendants we're about to speak about. Telephone number 1, is for the Philadelphia Police Department's Special Victims Unit. And that number is 215-685-3251. I will repeat them before we're done today. There is also a number for this office's Victim Services Unit for anyone who, for whatever reason, wants to contact the DA's office with or without also contacting the other numbers. The number here, 215-686-5709. And then there is the War Hotline. I should say more specifically, there is the hotline that is used by WAR and is also now known as the Philadelphia Center Against Sexual Violence. That number is 215-985-3333. So what are we talking about today? We are, in a moment, going to hear the details of the charging of two adult male defendants, with a variety of charges that relate to sexual abuse and exploitation, that relate to child pornography. Both of these defendants are clergy. I do not say that lightly, because on the one hand, it means that they are people who hold a position of trust. They are people who, in some instances, may have had access to vulnerable victims from that position of trust. Pretty much all judges and all sentencing guidelines systems recognize that position of trust, when it is abused, has its criminal consequences. But I also say that because there are a lot of good people of faith who do everything right. They don't do this. So anybody who wants to use this as an excuse to hate religion, to hate clergy, to hate a church, to hate parishioners, I mean, that's just a stereotype. That just ain't right. That's kind of like the nonsense of saying all priests are perverts. It's completely untrue and entirely wrong. So I hope no one will walk away from this press conference doing that. Because what we do when we take down people in a position of trust who do criminal, terrible things, whether they are law enforcement officers, whether they are clergy, whether they are elected officials, is we lift up all the good ones. And I hope that is what we're actually doing today. I want to recognize some of the good people who are here, and then we will get into the details. We have with us ADA Katrina Wadas, that's Katrina, Wadas is Wadas, who is the chief of the DAO's Family Violence Sexual Assault Unit. We have ADA Myra Reyes, and that is spelled M-A-Y-R-A, Reyes, R-E-Y-E-S, who is supervising in the DAO's Family Violence Sexual Assault Unit. We have the assigned assistant DA in that same unit, whose name is Helena Von Naj, and that is spelled H-E-L-E-N-A, Von, V-O-N, there's then a space and a capital N, Helena Von Naj, capital V-O-N, space, capital N, A-G-Y. Did I get that right, Helena?
It's a lowercase v.
Lowercase v. Everything I said but lowercase v. We also have with us some very familiar names who do very important work for victims and survivors in this office, Donna Woods and Mariel Dela Cruz. And finally, we have with us, and we are honored to have with us, the acting executive director for WAR, the Philadelphia Center Against Sexual Violence, and that is Lakeisha Anthony, spelled L-A-Q-U-I-S-H-A, Anthony the usual way. All right, so the two defendants who have now been arrested, charged, arraigned, and are waiting to go to a preliminary hearing, those two defendants are Brian Jackson, date of birth February 20th, 1984, who serves as the senior pastor at the Garden of Prayer World's WORLD''S Prayer Center, a Pentecostal congregation, from what I understand. The second defendant is Isaiah Banks, date of birth 2/2/1996. Most recently served as senior pastor of Second Pilgrim Baptist Church in North Philadelphia. My understanding is that he resigned in a hurry and in the last couple months, but he served there during the time frame that is covered by these alleged criminal activities. I have several more things to say. However, I think at this point we should go directly to our speakers so they can explain the details of the case and offer some other insights that I think show the big picture here. We have, speaking first, ADA Katrina Wattis, who will briefly discuss the work of the DAO's Family Violence Sexual Assault Unit. We then have ADA Helena Von Naj, and Helena will be talking about the case itself, the defendants, their charges, and the details that it is appropriate to mention at this time. Third, we will hear from Lakeisha Anthony about the organization she runs, victim services, response, and some pretty layered, sophisticated, important things that I couldn't possibly explain myself. When that is completed, I'll have a few more comments, and then we will go to question and answer. I would ask you at this time, please confine your questions to this topic. If you have questions about other things, they can go to our communications unit after the press conference or later today. But out of a certain level of understanding of how sensitive and how, frankly, explosive this will be within a number of different communities, how triggering it may be for some people, for reasons I think you can figure out. Because of that, I would just ask you respectfully to confine your questions to today's topic, and if there's anything else you'd like to hear about, talk to us privately afterwards, and we'll see what we can do. Without further ado, ADA Katrina Wattis.
Good morning. As the DA said, my name is Katrina Wattis, and I'm the supervisor of the Family Violence and Sexual Assault Unit at the District Attorney's Office. I'm joined today by two important members of that unit. That would be ADA Myra Reyes, who is the Assistant Chief of Family Violence and Sexual Assault, as well as ADA Helena Von Naj, who has been specially assigned to vertically prosecute the cases that we're here to talk about today. First, I just want to explain that FESA is a specialty unit at the District Attorney's Office dedicated to the prosecution of domestic violence and sexual assault offenses. These are crimes that are prosecuted by some of the most experienced attorneys in the office, and this is a particular case that's being handled vertically by an experienced prosecutor. FESA is partnering closely for this investigation and for this case, not only with the Special Victims Unit, but with advocacy groups such as WAR, or Philadelphia Center Against Sexual Violence, an advocacy group that serves victims in the community affected by these types of crimes. So at this time, I want to introduce you to the ADA assigned to the case against Brian Jackson and Isaiah Banks. Like I said, that's ADA Helena Von Naj, who I'm going to invite to speak at this time to the charges and some of the evidence that we have in this case.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Katrina, and thank you, DA Krasner. So the alleged facts are that over several years, Mr. Banks groomed more than one minor in the community to produce child pornography, and then provided that pornography to Mr. Jackson, who also directly communicated with these children for the purpose of getting more videos and photos of that type. So first, I would like to commend these children in their bravery in coming forward and starting this process. It's extremely difficult to have to speak about these things to law enforcement, to the community members, and eventually in front of the defendants when this goes to a preliminary hearing and eventually a trial. And many thanks also to the hard work, to the detectives of Special Victims Unit for all of their hard work in this case, including securing search warrants for the defendants' phones that show evidence of this exchange with the children and with each other and the exchange of these videos and photos. This is still an ongoing investigation, potentially into further victims, if any come forward. They are currently charged, both defendants are currently charged with the creation of child pornography, sexual exploitation of children, conspiracy, unlawful contact with a minor, corruption of minors, and criminal use of communication facilities for multiple victims together both defendants. There are other charges also, and there may be additional charges forthcoming with these victims and any new victims that do come forward. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lakeisha Anthony. I am the Acting Executive Director at WAR, Philadelphia Center Against Sexual Violence. Today, I stand before you in response to deeply troubling charges involving trusted community leaders who have been accused of sexual abuse and exploitation of minors. These allegations are profoundly disturbing, not only because of the alleged harm inflicted on children, but because they represent a violation of trust within spaces that are meant to be safe, sacred, and protective. At WAR, our mission is to eliminate all forms of sexual violence and to advocate for and support those impacted by sexual abuse. We do this by providing trauma-informed services, prevention education, and systems advocacy throughout our community. In moments like this, our hearts are with children, survivors, and families affected. We recognize that cases involving abuse by authority figures, particularly figures of faith leaders, can create layers of trauma, including betrayal, confusion, isolation, and fear. Survivors may struggle not only with the abuse itself, but also with the loss of trust in institutions and communities they once relied on. So to every survivor, or in every family member and every community member impacted by this, we want you to know that you are not alone and that support is available. WAR provides prevention, comprehensive, confidential, and compassionate services to survivors of sexual violence, including a 24-hour crisis hotline that anyone can call. Individual counseling and therapy, medical and legal advocacy, where we are supporting victims in the courtroom with the DA's office and the DAs who are here today. Support for non-offending caregivers and family members, and prevention education and community outreach to our community. We have a wealth of knowledge in supporting survivors of child sexual abuse and exploitation. We also understand that cases like this can be triggering not only for those impacted by the sexual violence directly, but others who may have experienced abuse in the past, others who have experienced abuse prior in this moment. And public news coverage can bring up many painful memories and emotions. And we want individuals to know that if someone is feeling overwhelmed or triggered and are needing support, we encourage you to reach out to our hotline. WAR's hotline is 215-985-3333. There is a trained advocate that will be available at any time to listen, to provide support, and to help connect with resources. This case is not isolated. It reflects a broader societal issue that demands collective action. Preventing sexual violence requires all of us, all of the organizations, leaders, families, and community members to remain vigilant, informed, and committed to creating safer environments for all individuals, especially vulnerable children. At WAR, we remain committed to standing with survivors and amplifying their voices and working towards a future free of sexual violence. And we can't do that alone. So it requires all of you, even those who are reporting this particular incident today. We ask that you would make sure that individuals know that they have access to care. And also for all the church members who are out there who need some sort of support or counseling services, that they can call our hotline. And I'll give that number once again. It's 215-985-3333. And I thank you for listening. And once again, we are here to support.
All right, you guys, so that press conference is not over. Remember, I had to tell you it is much longer. So we cut it into two halves. We'll get to that second half, that part two, in just a second. But Senior Pastor Bryant Jackson on the left side of your screen is the senior pastor at Garden of Prayer, where he still is the preacher there. And then you've got Pastor Isaiah Banks on the right side. He stepped down from Second Pilgrim Baptist Church after the allegations surfaced. Again, we'll get back into what they're exactly facing, what seems to be next for the district attorney's office, and more when we come back. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back into Philadelphia Live. That press conference that we were just showing you all is not finished. I want to get right back into it, but just as a reminder, especially for people who may just now be joining us, we're talking about child abuse and exploitation allegations against two local Philadelphia area pastors. One of them is Brian Jackson, the other is Isaiah Banks. Again, let's pick up where the district attorney's office just left off.
My thanks to all the speakers. Just a couple points I want to stress, and thank you to Acting Director Lakeisha Anthony for repeating the war hotline, which was 215-985-3333, the DAL hotline, 215-686-5709, Philadelphia Police Department Special Victims Unit line, 215-685-3251. Not only do we encourage anyone who has knowledge, either as a witness or even potentially as a victim, to come forward in relation to this or any other case that is of concern to you of a similar nature, I want you to understand, for those of you who may have hesitated, that it is easier in some ways than it used to be. And that is for two reasons. Number one, you need to know that the period of time in which criminal charges can be brought is long. It is long, especially for child victims. Number two, forensics. I know I talk about forensics a lot. Let me just give you one reason why. Some people imagine that if they come forward to describe a very private violation, that it will just be their word. That'll be the only thing out there to prove the case, that they're going to be in some fashion excessively questioned, that they're going to be subjected to some sort of stigma if that happens, and certainly those concerns are real. But when you have people caught on their cell phones, when you have the text back and forth, when you have the electronic communication, and in this case, the photographs that are themselves criminal in nature, it means the case is so much stronger. It is so much more likely to result in a guilty plea than a trial. It is a situation where the most victimized people may not have to testify at all, because it may be possible to prove the case through forensics and through the testimony, for example, of an adult witness or of a parent. So please Do not hesitate to tell the truth now, to tell the truth to us, to WAR, to the Special Victims Unit. It's important. It's important for you, but it's also important for everyone else like you who might be or might have been victimized, and whom you can help by doing that. All right. So it is now time for question and answer. I respectfully repeat that we are going to answer questions confined to this topic today. Channel 3 CBS, Mr. Gardner, do you have any questions, sir? No, sir. Okay, thank you. Channel 6 ABC, Becca Hendrickson, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do have a couple questions. First of all, are you able to tell us how many victims there are in this case?
The short answer is no. We chose our language carefully for all the reasons I mentioned. We can tell you that there is more than one, but this is a very active investigation, and it will become clear, I would say, in the next couple of months, how many more than one it may be. Do you have another question, Ms. Hendrickson?
Are you able to give us age ranges of the victims here?
The only age range that we're willing to give at this time is that they are minors. And that's not because we're trying to be sneaky. It's to protect them, and also because some of this information will come out in court soon enough. Is there any other question, Ms. Hendrickson?
Yeah, one more if you don't mind. When did these alleged crimes happen?
I'll get the expert up here on that one.
So as I said, it was sort of a process over a course of several years, but the specific age range we're looking at right now that it's charged is between January and May of this year, 2026.
Thank you. Channel 10 NBC, Miguel Martinez.
I'll do the English questions first, and then afterward, break off to Spanish.
Sure.
Is there a specific gender affected, or can you speak to that?
We will not speak to that today. Some of that information will come out later, but we're not speaking to that today.
Are there other people within the churches who are also being looked at in terms of collaborating or hiding or withholding information?
What I can say at this time is it's a very active investigation. We continue to gather information. Part of our reason for doing this press conference, given the very sensitive nature, was to do what we've been able to do very successfully in the past. It's to notify people who may have a story to tell or may remember something that happened in the past that seemed off, but at the time they didn't have enough information to understand the broader context. So we expect that we may be in possession of more information as a result of this press conference than we were before, but we're not in a position to give out much information on what we have right now in order to preserve the integrity of the investigation and also the privacy of those who were victimized. Is there anything else, Mr. Martinez? All right, and later we'll do the other thing. Okay, very good. 29 Fox, Shayna Ferreira. Hi. Well, I'm decidedly not a faith leader, but I certainly do have a message to faith leaders, which is those of you, the vast, vast majority of you who are doing great work in your community, keep it up. And anybody who isn't, you better stop it and get out of the way, because it is incredibly important that our communities have institutions of faith that have integrity. It's incredibly important that the positions of trust that are held are worthy of that trust. I will say again, because I think it's important to say, it's just wrong to suggest that somehow every teacher, is a criminal pervert if one is caught doing something, or every priest, or every pastor, or every theater coach, or every, shall I go on, or every daycare operator, or every summer camp operator. That's just not fair. And it's a stereotype, and that is not at all the message that should come from this. The message that should come from this is that people are going to be accountable, no matter where they are on some hierarchy or some pyramid of status. They're going to be accountable, including faith leaders, if they abuse that trust and they commit crimes. Sure.
I'd like to add to that as well. So for faith leaders, you have the opportunity to be a beacon of hope and support for individuals who have experienced these forms of crimes. Sexual violence is something that is very prevalent in our community, and oftentimes many individuals will disclose their trauma to their faith leaders or their faith communities first. You can partner with organizations like us and the DA's office with victim service agencies to bring in resources and support and education to help people to understand the impact of sexual violence in the city of Philadelphia and how people can be supported and how we can prevent it as well. So to faith leaders, you have a responsibility to support and to help individuals through their pain.
Thank you for that. All right, let me see. Ms. Ferreira, anything else? I understand the question, and I appreciate the job that all of you have. It's just not a question I can answer at this time. There will be more information coming out in court proceedings, as it must, as required by law, but not today, if I may say that to you respectfully. Philadelphia Inquirer, Jillian Kramer, do you have any questions? Okay, WHYY, Tom McDonald, do you have any questions, sir?
Can you, number one, tell us how many instances are portrayed on the evidence? And number two, are there any where you haven't identified the victims?
What I can tell you is more than one instance is conveyed in the evidence. And I can also tell you that we will not be answering today whether any of them are unidentified victims. I recognize this is not the most satisfying press conference for some of you.
If you get people to come forward, if you tell us that they're unidentified victims, wouldn't that encourage the victims to come forward?
It might do that. It may also inform certain people more than they need to be informed right now of what they have to worry about. And I understand. I am in no way demeaning or describing your question as inappropriate. It's an appropriate question. Unfortunately, it's also appropriate for me not to answer at this time. Do you have any other questions, Mr. McDonald? Okay. Sherry Stone, Philadelphia Tribune. Ms. Stone, thank you for the question. We're not going to answer today whether the victims were boys, girls, or both, for a lot of the reasons I did mention previously. I can tell you that the evidence in the case includes electronic evidence. It does include communications, communications between a variety of perpetrators, victims, witnesses. However, because we need to preserve the integrity of the investigation and because we hope to be able to gather additional evidence, I have to be very cautious in not letting out too much information. I wouldn't want someone who did something wrong to think they're safe, and I wouldn't want someone who is thinking about coming forward to tell the truth to hesitate. And so that is part of the challenge with this press conference. My apologies to all of you who would like more, but this is the challenge that we have in these kinds of cases. This is why we don't do as much press around these cases as we sometimes do with others. I will say this, I think it's very clear that we will be able to say a lot more a lot later, and we will be able to say more later, but this is what we can say for now. Mr. Cipriano, do you have any, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. All right. We have a comment in relation to bail.
Sure. Mr. Banks' bail was set at a total of $600,000 monetary. He posted that bail and is currently out. Mr. Jackson's bail was set at a total of $100,000. He posted that bail and is currently out. We did appeal the setting of Mr. Jackson's bail when the magistrate set it, and our appeal to the MC court judge was denied.
All right, let me see. Mr. Cipriano, do you have any questions that are on point?
Mr. Krasner, Paul George was disbarred in federal court.
Sir, that's off point. You and I both know it, and I've said it 3 times. Do you have a question on point?
You're not going to answer questions about your head of your law.
We are not answering it today, Mr. Cipriano. I know you're a big defender of some of the priests who've been convicted. I know that, but unless you want to go there, or talk about your defense of Sandusky, unless you want to go there, maybe we should stay on point.
Boy, that's tough for you, I can tell, as you just demonstrated. You say we can refer questions to your PR staff. In 8.5 years, I've never gotten a response from them.
Thank you all.
So, Mr. Krasner, Paul George disbarred in federal court. Nancy Winkleman suspended for 3 years in federal court.
Ralph,
I'm sure you're aware of it.
are you ever ashamed of yourself? I mean, honestly, you ever look in the mirror and say, what am I?
What am I ashamed of you, Mr. Krasner? You're a disgrace. You're a disgrace.
All right, so as you can hear, it got a little spicy at the end there, but once again, the people we are talking about here, they're both pastors here in the Philadelphia area. Brian Jackson, who actually still presides over his church, and then you've got Isaiah Banks on the right side of your screen as well. And I'm not sure just how much they got into it, so just in case any of you guys missed it, what they're saying happened here where they got a tip off that something was wrong. Philadelphia police, they say they began their investigation on April 8th. The Department of Human Services reported Isaiah Banks. They said that he had allegedly solicited a minor to send sexually explicit videos in exchange for money and or food. According to the district attorney's office, they used forensic evidence and some interviews that revealed that both Banks and Jackson may have conspired to obtain more explicit images from multiple victims. The investigation went on to find that Banks sent images to Jackson, who then posed as a woman, to solicit content directly from the victim. There were also text messages, according to officials, from January 2026 that show both men allegedly discussing plans to obtain even more explicit content. So again, it's a disturbing case that we're trying to get more details about for you all. As you could hear from the district attorney's office, they don't want to give any identifying information toward the victims. The only thing they will say is that they are minors. They are hoping that by listening to this press conference, by seeing their faces, maybe more people will come out and express that they had an inkling to something that may have been going on, or maybe some more information that could help them build their case against these two clergy members. But that's the latest that we have there on that. If we get more, try to bring it out to you. Now, you guys stay tuned right here on this live stream. We got a lot of stuff coming up for you all. In a little bit of lighter news, the NBA draft is tonight. I'm hearing they've already made a couple of their top picks. We'll get into it when we come back. Welcome back into Philadelphia Live. I'm Jade Murray. I see you guys in our live stream chat. A lot of you guys asking while we're playing press conferences, are we live? Yes, we are. Hi, I'm here. Just want to give a quick shout out to a couple of people who I know are watching right now. Angel Luis Soto Rivera, welcome on in. Ray, welcome in. Of course, I've got to give a shout out to Brenda J. Lamore, who's always with us. We love to see you. Got a couple of other people as well. Barry asking questions, Naisha Ricard sharing the live. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on Philadelphia Live. Now let's get into some of our national news. I want to give you guys a live look on the House floor where House of Representatives are still going. Right now it looks like they're talking about another America 250th event, some changes that they want to make. And while we're talking about the House, I do need to let you know about the Senate. The Senate has voted to try and limit President Donald Trump's war powers, but according to Fox News, it's really more of a symbolic victory because it's actually not going to go to his desk. And even if it were going to go to his desk, it would likely be vetoed. So the whole plan here, they want to limit the things that President Donald Trump can do as it pertains to war, more specifically the war with Iran. As you guys may know, we should have already signed a deal that says the war is over. They were hoping to bring back troops immediately, but again, also try to limit the power that he has over our law enforcement and our military. Now, again, like I said, Fox News is reporting that this is more so symbolic, but it was interesting to see if you guys paid attention to the voting lines, both in the House of Representatives and then when it was brought over to the Senate. Quite a few Republicans who normally side with President Donald Trump actually came to the other side in support of this particular piece of legislation. So, you know, very interesting that we're seeing what happened here in the Senate. This was a 50-48 split vote. Now, the House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, like right after we heard that that vote had been made, actually stepped out, talked to the media a little bit about how he feels this war with Iran, and even though it's ending, you know, how he feels about it. Let's get into it.
Donald Trump and Republicans have plunged America into a reckless and costly war of choice that has been a disaster. House Democrats have opposed this war from the very beginning because we believe that taxpayer dollars should be used to make life more affordable for the American people, not get us involved in another reckless, endless, foreign adventure that actually has made our country weaker relative to Iran than the position that we were in before Donald Trump started this war. And Iran, unfortunately, is now stronger. And the American people have been forced to pay the price, including as a result of the higher gas prices and higher food prices that can be directly attributed to the Trump Republican reckless war of choice in Iran. We're thankful that earlier today, led by Senate Democrats, the Senate passed our War Powers Resolution, demanding that Trump and Republicans end this reckless and costly war of choice in Iran once and for all. And the bottom line is that we shouldn't spend another dime of taxpayer dollars on Operation Epic Failure that has been a disaster for the national security and the economic interests of the American people. Questions?
In two swing seats, the 2nd District in Maine, the 22nd in California, the DCCC endorsed the Democratic candidate who did not advance the general. Is this making you reevaluate how the DCCC plays in contested primaries at all?
No, I have full faith and confidence in the DCCC. Susan DelBene has done a tremendous job, and we're going to take back control of the House of Representatives in November.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. The House has two.
All right, you guys, there we're hearing from the Minority Leader of the House, Hakeem Jeffries. very much so not mincing his words on how he feels about the conflict with Iran. He kept saying there that he wants to end it once and for all, but keep in mind there was a deal that has been signed. I do believe we've got about 60 days for them to try to make it permanent, try to work out whatever kinks may be in that deal so that both Iran and the U.S. are feeling good and able to come out on the opposite side of things. But the Strait of Hormuz has reopened. We're seeing that gas should start coming down, the price of it. We've already been seeing the price of gas coming down quite a bit in the last couple of weeks. So, you know, just seeing where it continues to go. Meanwhile, the Pentagon is asking Congress for a pretty little penny. We're talking about $80 billion. Am I right about that? Yeah. The Pentagon is seeking roughly $80 billion. They're hoping that it'll cover the U.S.'s war against Iran. Now, the Pentagon says that they've asked this of the White House Office of Management and Budget. However, that request has not been formally submitted yet to Congress. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth reportedly made rounds on Capitol Hill on Monday. And according to two people who are familiar with what's going on, the top deputy defense secretary told senators about the potential funding just last week. The possible push comes as lawmakers remain skeptical of the deal President Trump recently struck with Iran. The Trump administration requested a remarkable $1.5 trillion for defense spending in April, a nearly 50% increase over the current fiscal year's funding levels. Senate Majority Leader John Thune said he's expecting a supplemental funding request for the Iran war. He also said that he will, and I quote, work through it and see where the votes are when it arrives. Meanwhile, the increased budget is likely to face some opposition. Some Democratic senators have previously accused the administration on spending taxpayer dollars on a war that, I quote, many strongly oppose. Excuse me there. $80 billion. How do you guys feel about that? I mean, do you think that it'll go through? You said about them asking for more money. I mean, that was one of the things that Hakeem Jeffries was just talking about. He said another single dollar should not be spent on what's going on there. Now, while all that was going down, President Donald Trump was actually in our neck of the woods. He paid a visit to Pennsylvania. He visited the workers and addressed them at Mack Trucks assembly plant out here, again, in our area. He talked about the Iran conflict, the economy, American manufacturing trade, tariffs, and his effort to put American workers first. But first and foremost, he praised Pennsylvania. Take a listen.
The Mack people, the chairman, we have the whole group of here, all the leaders, the big guys they're building. They're trying to get a contract for 15,000 trucks. 15,000. I said, that's a lot. I said, how many are you looking for? 10, 15? No, 15,000. So that's a lot of trucks. For more than 100 years, this legendary company has been making trucks right here in eastern Pennsylvania, building the heavy-duty machinery that keeps our economy rolling, our factories moving, and our industries rolling all across the nation. And you are the men and women who put your pride and spirit into those beautiful words, stamped on every Mack truck that said, made in the USA. It's made in the USA. And I want to especially thank the president of Mack Trucks, Stephen Roy, who I just met, who's a great guy, a great patriot, very Republican too, which I like. He's a very strong Republican. Stephen, where are you, Stephen? Stephen. We got to get a certain very talented congressman reelected. You know that we got to get him. Where are you? Where are you, Mr. Congressman? We got to get you back in. Thank you, and thank you, Stephen. But a very special thanks to every single worker at this fantastic factory. The job you're doing here is incredible. And I know you're applying for a big one, and we'll see how that goes. We'll have to call up some people and see if it's good. If your price is right. Is your price right, Stephen? I don't know. Maybe we'll get it down a little bit. We'll get it down. 15,000 trucks. That's a lot of trucks. But that's what this is all about. It's greatness. You built this country, and you are the ones who are making America great again. We're the hottest country in the world. For decades. For decades, the workers of this Commonwealth watched globalist politicians let other countries rip you off and close your factories, rob your jobs, take them away to foreign lands. And then I came along. We stopped it very quickly. Then we had a rigged election. But they were so stupid, they kept everything going a little bit for us. And what we've done in the last year and a half, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They put America first, they put China first, they put illegal aliens first, and everybody else first, but we put you first by a lot. But at long last, you finally have a president who is putting workers first, putting Pennsylvania first, and putting America first. We're doing that, and we're doing that like nobody's ever seen before. And starting on my first day back in office, and this goes all the way back to 2016 too, but right from a year and a half ago, nobody's ever seen anything like this. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world by a lot. But I stood up to the trade cheaters and cheaters and abusers and violators of the world like no president has ever stood up before. And now I'm standing up again because Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon if that's okay.
All right, you guys, that was the President of the United States speaking earlier today after his visit, or during his visit, I should say, to Pennsylvania. And again, he visited with the workers at Max Trucks. A lot of people were excited to see him. That event went on for a couple of hours, and that was just a little snippet of how he started out the big show. Now, you guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the NBA draft is well underway. I heard we got some good picks right off top where the Sixers going to pick. That'll come a little later on, but we'll get into it when we come back. All right, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. We got a lot of stuff going on. If you're into sports, this is the segment for you. All right, we're going to check in with some of our biggest sports scores. We know Panama versus Croatia, that FIFA World Cup match literally just ended. It looks like Croatia came out on top. So we'll see what happens next. Another big FIFA World Cup match that we're looking forward to, though, is Thursday. That is when Team USA will be taking the field. And then later on tonight, though, if you want to get into a good game, Colombia versus the Democratic Republic of the Congo. That's happening at Guadalajara Stadium. In terms of baseball, Phillies are still taking on the Washington Nationals. It looks like right now we're up. Okay, we're in the bottom of the 8th. I feel good. I don't know about you guys. I'm feeling really good. We got 6 points. Washington Nationals put up 5. Again, we'll see if we can hold this lead. We only have a little while left to go. I'm hoping that we come out on top. And, keep in mind, this is without Kyle Schwarber. I heard from our sports team earlier that he had decided he wasn't going to play tonight because of tightness in his back. They figured they would just nurse that small injury. It seems like it's going to be something that's pretty minor, but they'll nurse it quickly, and then hopefully he'll be back soon. So that's what's going on with baseball. Meanwhile, the NBA draft is underway right now. We know a lot of college hopefuls have been looking towards the NBA, hoping that they get picked up by some of their favorite teams. And I can go over a couple of the top picks with you all. We've been keeping our eyes on everything that's happening there. This is the first round of draft picks for 2026. And I can tell you that AJ Devonta has been picked up by the Washington Wizards. This is big news. A lot of people thought that he was going to be the first round draft pick for 2026. Obviously, that is like an incredible feat. I believe he had a pretty good pretty good. What am I saying here? He had an incredible freshman year. So, of course, they wanted to pick him up. They got him from BYU. So, good luck with the Washington Wizards. Number 2 draft pick was Darren Peterson. He played for Kansas, but now he is part of the Utah Jazz. That's what we're hearing. 3rd draft pick, Cameron Bouger from Duke. He was picked up by the Memphis Grizzlies. We've also got Caleb Wilson, played for North Carolina. It looks like he's now playing for the Chicago Bulls. We've got another one. Let's see if I can get you the 5th round. I'm scrolling along on Twitter. Every now and again, the NBA will post a picture of some of these players and talk about which team they're coming to next. So I left you guys off on the 5th draft pick. Let's see. I'm trying to scroll myself. Hold on. I'm almost there. I promise I'm almost there. 5th, Keaton Wagler. He was picked up by the LA Clippers. There we go. Okay, now number 6. This one's a little close to home for us. It's not quite in our area. A lot of you guys are watching from Philadelphia, but the Brooklyn Nets chose Michael Brown Jr. So again, now he will be playing there. He's the 6th round draft pick, or excuse me, 6th pick for the NBA draft. Let's see. Let's move on to the 7th. Sacramento Kings had the 7th pick. They chose Darius Acuff Jr. That is the 7th pick of the 2026 NBA draft. Let's move on to the 8th overall pick. That looks like it's Kingston Flemings. And he's been picked up by the Atlanta Hawks. Okay, that was an interesting choice. And where are we at to now? Because they go pretty quickly, you guys. They're only 5 minutes in between each person being chosen. Let's see. I'm scrolling up now. Maybe 8 is where we're at. I don't think we've picked the 9th person just yet. Okay, so we're in a pretty good spot. Sixers have number 22. So we've got quite some time before we figure out who's going there. I was hoping to be able to check in. Oh, wait, no, just got it in. 9th pick of the NBA draft, according to Twitter, is Morez Johnson Jr., who's picked up by the Dallas Mavericks. Okay, that literally just came out on their account. That is the latest pick. Now we're waiting for number 10. Again, we are all the way at number 22, so we got quite some time to go. I was hoping to check in with our sports team to give you guys a quick look at everything that's happening out there, but I think they're still watching the draft as well. Everybody's really excited about this, waiting to see what the new NBA season is going to turn out to be like, so I don't blame them. But bringing things a little closer back to home, Mayor Sherrell Parker and a couple of other city leaders, they have been trying to get people amped up and ready for the FIFA World Cup. And honestly, it hasn't been very hard. FIFA Fan Fest has been doing the dang thing. If you guys have gotten out, there's so much food, drinks, they do face painting, and it's free. And you're meeting people from a ton of different countries. I heard that some people were actually changing their like dating location on the dating apps and whatnot to try to make a little love connection out there at Lemon Hill. But also some people just looking for friends. I have actually met some random girl. She was rooting for Ivory Coast, and we ended up like getting in line with each other to get those bracelets, the trending viral fan bands. We ended up in line together, and then we ended up watching the next match together. I was gonna go home, but after I met her, I was like, hey, let's kick it for another match. They had a great time. Anyway, to get people even more excited, I heard that the mayor has given out some free tickets. And this is for youth soccer players, coaches, community partners at the Huntington Park Recreation Center. I want to let you listen in on this great initiative.
It's game time. You had an opportunity to see a little display, but it is game time. My name is Susan Slauson. I am the Commissioner for Parks and Recreation, and I oversee more than 150 rec centers and playgrounds, 1,500 sports spaces, from courts to fields, and I have the honor and privilege of supporting thousands of coaches and families who devote their time to soccer teams across Philadelphia's parks and recreations. What we witnessed out there and what we're witnessing today is an opportunity for us to showcase the skills of our young soccer players. You saw a scrimmage, you saw the spirit. It's exactly what Philadelphia Parks and Recreation is all about, and exactly what happens when a vision meets community. Our mayor, Sherelle L. Parker, has stood on this vision since she first became mayor. An unwavering supporter of youth sports, programming, and opportunity for young people, her commitment is honestly unmatched. It has been at the top of her list since she's been mayor. Our young people are priority. And Madam Mayor, thank you. Thank you for your commitment to our future, because that's what this is about. It's about our future. It is her vision that has allowed Philadelphia Parks and Recreation to think bigger. And if you know anything about the mayor, your best is not enough. Because if you're doing your best, she's saying you can do better. So to think bigger and be innovative in the ways we advance youth soccer across the city. Mayor Parker, we are turning that vision, your vision, into action through real programming and meaningful wins across every neighborhood. Here's a quick update, Mayor. Just recently, PPR and Street Soccer USA hosted a youth and adult soccer tournament at Eakins Oval during the opening weekend of the World Cup, showcasing Philly's love for soccer in front of visitors from around the world. Last week, we partnered with CHOP. Yes, we did. And the Embassy of the United Arab Emirates to open a brand new year-round soccer field at Conestoga Park. Yes. In West Philadelphia, home of the West Philadelphia Soccer Club. And this fall, we'll collaborate with Cheltenham Township on the return of the Unity Cup. I know that's big on your list, Madam Mayor. And introduce the One Philly Soccer Club. Do you hear that in there? The One Philly Soccer Club, a new neighborhood program that will bring soccer directly, which is what you push us on, directly into neighborhoods. Mike Barsati, who's standing over there, is our guy that makes sure this happens in our community with our sports. So every young person has a place to start and a pathway to grow in the game. Young people, they have a place to start in parks and recreation. That's where so many people that you see that are in big places have started, right here, Philadelphia Parks and Recreation. From neighborhood fields to moments like today, soccer in Philadelphia is having a real moment, and Parks and Recreation is proud to play just a small part. And thank you to the leaders, extraordinary partners that are here with us today, Madam Mayor. Barbie Rose of Kensington Soccer Club, Andrea Rogers, a Star founder. I want to say this, Madam Mayor, that Starfinder is running 3 camps for Parks and Recreation starting next week. Houston Playground, American Legion, and Jay Finnegan. And so we want to say thank you to Starfinder, who will be hosting these camps for us this summer. And of course, as always, thank you to my team. Sue Buck, who's over there, Frank Faby, always, Rob Jackson, who's in charge of programming, and their teams, Tito, Khalil, as well as our youth sports director again, Mike Barsati, Joe Brogan, and Jerry Labrisky. So it is now my honor to introduce, I love to say this, my mayor. I really do. our mayor, who has been the driving force behind the investment for our young people, our neighborhoods, and the future of sports, Mayor Sherelle L. Parker.
Let me just start by saying that Philadelphia, we are outside today, but we're inside right now. And I wish that each of you could have had the opportunity to see the light in the eyes of the young people who are here today as we stand in Hunting Park watching these young people play. I couldn't help but to think about all of the dreams that begin on fields like the ones outside in our neighborhoods. As someone who grew up competing in sports here in the city, I know how these kinds of experiences can help to shape our lives. And that's why today matters to me. The pathway to the world's biggest stage, it often starts on neighborhood fields like this one. So today I am proud to help, and I want you to hear this, young people. Today, we, Philly, are going to make sure that 100 young people and their coaches attend the next 2 FIFA World Cup matches right here in Philadelphia. Now, I know, somebody is saying, but Mayor, we saw you over at Fan Fest, and you said you were so excited about Fan Fest. Well, Philly, I am, because we have hosted the largest number of fans outdoors who are completely excited about visiting Lemon Hill and watching all of the FIFA matches, and we have been the #1 attended site in the nation. Give Philly a round of applause. And so, Philly, today, this is the Kensington Soccer Club and the Starfinder Foundation, where these young people are going to experience the world's game on the world's biggest stage. And they're not going to see it on television. They're not going to see it from a distance. They're going to see it in person right here in their hometown. Andrea and Barbios, I am so excited and grateful. As Philadelphia welcomes the world, we've made a commitment to make sure that Philadelphians can be part of the experience. From the FIFA Fan Festival to neighborhood celebrations across the city, we've worked to make this historic moment accessible to everyone, because this moment is supposed to belong to all Philadelphians, and especially our young people. And Philadelphia, that's why I selected the Kensington Soccer Club and the Starfinder Foundation. Let me tell you a little bit about each. For 16 years, the Kensington Soccer Club has used soccer to build community, create opportunity, and to help young people see a brighter future for themselves. And then for more than 2 decades, the Starfinder Foundation, they've combined the love of soccer and mentoring and education to help young people grow as students, leaders, and teammates. So these organizations were like a natural fit because they understand what sports can do, but they are also developing leaders. They are opening doors, and they are, in essence, changing lives. But I need to start, and I'm going to ask you, Kensington Soccer Club and the Starfinder Foundation, to give my team a round of applause, because I do get the opportunity, yes, to be the mayor. But we have the best. We have the best Parks and Recreation Commissioner in the country right here, our Commissioner Susan Slauson. Give her a super huge round of applause. We thank you. She and her team, all of them, they made all of this happen. And then I have a team of people who are a part of making this city work on a daily basis, and all of the amazing events that we are having in the city of Philadelphia and neighborhoods across the city. They are all being led and coordinated by our Chief Deputy Mayor, Vanessa Garrett Harley. Give her a round of applause. I know you all are not sleeping, Vanessa. I know you're not. We also have Michael Newmis, who heads up our 2026 events. Give Michael Newmis a round of applause. And there is another young lady who is not here right now, but I really do mean this, Philadelphia. We took a stroll back through history to think about all of the amazing events that we've held here in the city. I'm talking about the draft, I'm talking about the Papals visit, I'm talking about Super Bowl parades, Roots picnics, all of these amazing events, Republican National Convention, Democratic National Convention, and Chief Deputy Mayor Vanessa Garrett Harley, there is one person who has been the constant throughout all of it. I don't care if we're talking about foreign diplomats, entertainment and hospitality executives. Whenever anyone is trying to do something in the city of Philadelphia, the first name they call for and they ask for is our city representative and our director. She's our director of special events. That's Giselle Jones. Give her a huge round of applause. And so listen, I want to thank you all so very much for joining us today. I want to encourage you all to do what I did when I was a Oak Lane Wildcat. That was my little league where I was a cheerleader. And I ran track for the Philadelphia Flames. And it encouraged me to dream big, to work hard, to support one another, and to enjoy every minute of that experience. And don't forget that we are all better together. With that.
Wow. All right, so as you could hear there, the mayor was saying that she has decided that she's giving away over 100 free tickets to watch a FIFA World Cup game to some of our young soccer players or coaches, just community members who have been doing an incredible job, just giving them that opportunity that a lot of us have been able to have to enjoy what's going on out there. Of course, FIFA Fan Fest has been free, but to go to an actual match itself where people have been like draining their bank accounts just to sit there and have a good time with some of their favorite players, to go for free and to build those memories in a place like the city of Philadelphia is just incredible. So a cool little initiative that the mayor has going on. We're going to take a quick commercial break. I want to bring things back out to get our forecast from our meteorologist, and then we'll start talking about the 4th of July because there's a lot going on in our area for it. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. You know, they call it the calm after the storm, and I feel like that's what today has been. Yesterday, like, the weather was all over the place. At one point in time, I remember we were talking about a tornado warning to really heavy rains that were keeping us from getting to our FIFA World Cup match. But tonight seems to be a little different. I'll kick things over to our meteorologist, Kathy Orr, to talk to us a little bit more about what we can expect.
Oh, wow. What a great evening compared to where we've been, Judea. I mean, we've come a long way today, starting off with the rain, the drizzle, the humidity. If you step outside right now, it actually feels comfortable, and you can see the skies clearing as well. So it's all good from here on out. Take a look at Independence Mall, where it's just a lovely night out there. Not much of a breeze, but you can feel that air. It's not quite as heavy as it's been. Temperatures around the region in the 60s and 70s. Dew point temperatures on their way down. When you see dew point temperatures in the 60s, that's muggy and sticky. In the 50s now in Allentown and Reading, that's the refreshing air mass that's coming in from the northwest. So overnight, lows in the 50s and 60s. Tomorrow, it's back to the 80s. Plenty of sunshine, but low humidity and a land breeze. That means the wind is coming from the land toward the shore. So temperatures down the shore will be just as mild as those inland temperatures like Glassboro, Philadelphia, and even to the north and west in Pottstown, everyone in the 80s. What about our FIFA forecast for the World Cup game Thursday at Philadelphia Stadium? Well, it looks warm. It will be sunny with increasing clouds. Of course, when we kick it off, we'll be in the upper 80s, and by the afternoon, that final whistle, temperatures staying in the 80s, as will be around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the evening by then. As we go through the day on Thursday, we'll see the clouds increase and there's a chance of showers even at night. That sets the stage for our next weather system coming in Friday and even Saturday with some scattered showers and some thunderstorms, and that could impact the match at Philadelphia Stadium on Saturday. Down the shore, looking nice tomorrow and Friday. Friday, just a pop-up shower possible. A better chance of seeing some showers around on Saturday. And then on your 7-day forecast from the Weather Authority, you can see 80s at least for the next 3 days, cooling down Saturday with the rain and storms, and then warming up again Monday and Tuesday. I mentioned this a couple hours ago when we talked. Next weekend, a weekend from this coming weekend, is the 4th of July already. And leading up to that, looks like we're going to have another heat wave. This would be next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, a week from tomorrow. And you can see those 90s building. It would be the 4th heat wave of the year, only the first heat wave of the summer season. So it's been hot already. And remember, July is when we typically get the most 90-degree days, and we could be in for it. We typically get about 20, 25 90-degree days in the month of July, so it's going to be a hot one, I think.
Okay, we gotta be ready.
Woo-hoo.
Everybody, pack that water. It's getting a little low. I need to re-up on it, and make sure you've got that sunscreen too. It's gonna be a hot one. Kathy, thank you so much for giving us a look at our forecast, keeping us up to date on everything that's going on. And you guys are going to need to know what's happening as we get into July, especially July 4th is coming up. Everybody's trying to be outside for these cookouts. It's really big. Actually, let's bring it on in here to me to studio. We've got an announcement from the City of Philadelphia Mayor's office. Weeks ago, she announced who was going to be performing the big, star-studded lineup for the One Philly Unity concert. And that's the big July 4th thing. All right, so we knew it was going to be Christina Aguilera. We knew Will Smith, DJ Jazzy Jeff, the list goes on and on and on. But if y'all thought she was finished, absolutely not. Today she announced that Meek Mill is also going to perform. You see the flyer right there on Instagram. This is huge. Of course, Meek is like Philly royalty. Everybody wants him to perform his greatest hits, and Dreams and Nightmares, when that drops, that better be what happens right before the fireworks start, how they do the grand finale. That's what I want. I'm not the person organizing any of this, but that's what I want to see. So if you're interested in getting out there, again, North Philadelphia's very own Meek Mill will be performing at the free One Philly Unity concert on Saturday, July 4th at the Benjamin Franklin Parkway. This is happening 5 to midnight. So many cool performers that you're going to see. And it is free. It's open to the public. This is a rain or shine event, once again, on Benjamin Franklin Parkway. The doors open up at 3 p.m. But I was talking to my coworkers, people are probably going to start getting out there like in the early a.m. hours just to get a good spot. As for me, myself, and I would like to find a nice little, well, I'll be here on the stream, but if I could go out and watch it, I would have been on a nice little rooftop away from all the clutter, but I can see everything. But most importantly, I can see the fireworks. That's going to be the most exciting part. Again, we got some heavy hitters going out there for that concert. We're going to take a quick step back from that. When we come back from this break, though, there was an incredible event happening today. They say that they are trying to pay homage to some of the kids who have lost their lives to the harms of social media. We'll get into it when we come back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. Today is Social Media Victims Remembrance Day, and I'm hearing that there are going to be grieving parents, Congress folks. They're teaming up with the Alexander Neville Foundation to hold a public memorial for every single child out there who has lost their life after being bullied or misguided on social media over the years. So I want you to take a listen to one of those victims who survived, lived to tell the story, and try to share some inspiration to parents who may be going through the same thing with their own child.
When I was 13 years old, after years of mental health struggles and social isolation, a grueling social media addiction, and the subsequent grooming and exploitation that I experienced at the hands of a dangerous online predator, my parents found a crumbled up piece of paper at the bottom of my book bag. It was addressed to my family, to my mom, to my dad, and to my two brothers. This paper was a letter, a poorly written poem, entirely unfinished. This poem was somewhere between, "I love you," and "I'm sorry," and "goodbye." This poem was my suicide note. But as you can see, I'm standing here before you today, and I got support. After years of intense and indiscriminate pain, I survived. And despite this, I still bear an unusual burden today. I'm 22, I'm standing in the presence of many of your children's spirits at the age many of them may be today, if not for the tragedies that interrupted their stories. I had the privilege of growing older, and they didn't. I got to finish high school. I got to graduate from university, fall in love, and marry my wife, Haley. I got to dream about my future and begin a career advocating for other survivors like me, families like you, and children here and gone. For instance, 2 years ago, I was here in D.C. I just left Congressman Hakeem Jeffries' office after advocating and uplifting a series of social media bills. We were doing bills on social media reform for this exact issue, and nothing's changed yet. As we walked out, a fellow advocate quietly asked me, "Harrison, do you ever feel like maybe you don't belong here?" And I thought about it. I'm sure he meant imposter syndrome. That feeling that we all get, that we find ourselves surrounded by influential politicians and powerful corporations and their leaders and wealthy nonprofits. But my immediate answer was much, much different. I told him yes, because none of us belong here. We don't belong here because the circumstances that brought us together are unacceptable. This advocacy exists because children were harmed, not because any of us are qualified. Irreplaceable lives were lost. And let me clarify, because I do feel a sense of belonging in this community, but I do not feel a sense of belonging to this cause. It was an interruption. It is an obligation. I know many of you feel the same sense of obligation. So to you, all of my fellow advocates, parents, survivors, and families, I'm sorry for what big tech greed and their negligence have stolen from you. Thank you for carrying burdens that you should have never had to carry, for showing up when it would have been much easier to stay home, for refusing to let their stories be forgotten. We are making a difference. Family, we are on the right side of history. And none of us belong to the tragedy that brought us here, but I am so grateful that we get to belong to each other as a family. And before I close, I want to acknowledge that I have a unique privilege today. I have the gift of sharing my own story, my own way, and in my own words. And I know that you and your children are not so fortunate. Instead, many of you have shouldered that burden yourselves. You spent countless hours stitching together the stories of your children's lives, even as those stories unraveled you. You have woven your grief and your love, your exhaustion and your courage and your hope into quilts of remembrance. Quilts are warm. They comfort us. But quilts also tell a story. Quilts connect families and communities across generations, intentionally sewn together, piece by piece, every square telling a unique story, and the whole quilt a united one. And today, friends and family, as you share the stories of your amazing children, I witnessed the stitching together of a beautiful quilt. One whose story remains unfinished, interrupted by grief, interrupted by hope. This beautiful quilt telling its united story is large enough to lovingly wrap around all of us, with so much room to spare. With more than enough room for anyone willing to listen and share in our grief and experience the unending love that all of you have for all of your children and the love that we have for one another as a family. Room for tech developers whose negligence brought us here, should they join us. And room for politicians still struggling to understand why any of this matters, should they listen. For every square, a child, every stitch, a grieving hand, every addition, Another family initiated into our grief, but also initiated into our family. And yes, we come angry. We come enraged by negligence, by greed, by systems that scaled faster than the protections your children so desperately needed. But we also come lovingly, unapologetically so, for all that we've lost. Here we gather their names: Albert, Dexton, Tristan, Riley, Alexander, Carson, Emily, Hector, Eli. We gather their photos, their beautiful faces, their incredible stories, their lives interrupted. Because this quilt, however beautiful and sacred it may be, grows longer and heavier every year. We stitch these stories into something big enough and warm enough to wrap around every grieving family here, while we demand those in power put an end to this madness. Every square a child, every stitch a grieving hand. But I can see, just on the horizon, the day this quilt story is finally told in full. One that tells the story of power and negligence and greed, of harm and hurt and grief. One of love and a passionate hope, of remembrance, of resistance, of reform, of resolve, and of justice. Every square a child, every stitch a grieving hand. Together telling the story of everyday people who loved enough, grieved enough, and persevered enough to put an end to this madness. But until that day comes, thank you for sharing your children with us. Thank you for sharing their stories. Thank you for sharing your story. And thank you, family, united family, beautiful family, for being on the right side of history. Thank you.
What a powerful, chilling speech. And just to know that it comes from a survivor who has, over time, strengthened himself, found out that life does go on, that things do get better, and now he's able to share his message with the world. Talk to parents who may be experiencing this now with their children, who, before it's too late and they lose their children, get this, but then also parents who have lost their kids to the harmful things going on social media, whether it was bullying or just being misguided by some bad actors out there on social media. Just to know that there's somebody out there like him who's still doing more and more to try to help people, I think is incredible. So that's what happened earlier on today at Capitol Hill, in the Washington, D.C. area. We were just trying to give you a little bit of that. Now, I want to talk to you real quick before the show ends, just about a couple of topics that have got everybody here in Philadelphia just going. So here's what Philly's talking about. We just got word from the chief of, I'm actually not exactly sure. Give me 1 second, you guys. What I can tell you about this is we're hearing that at around 6:30 p.m., police officers in the area of 56 and Lansdowne, they say that there was some sort of crash in that area. They hurried up and got out there and investigated it. Once they got to the area, they found out there was a 30-year-old woman who had been hit by a car. And then an SUV taxi struck a building on the corner. So this is just a mess of a scene here. The driver of that SUV, they're saying, was 76 years old, appears to have had some sort of a medical emergency, and both of them, both the 30-year-old and the 76-year-old, were taken to the hospital. So obviously this is a story that we're trying to learn a little bit more about. This is just the bare bones. You'll probably hear about it in the 10 o'clock hour, just giving you the behind-the-scenes version of it. Also, want to keep our eyes on what's going on with the Phillies. I'm hearing that their game is starting to come to an end, and give you a look at their what in the world? At the bottom of the ninth, and what how did we get here? I don't have that much time with you guys, but last time we were looking at this score, the Phillies were down. Top of the show, we didn't even have anything on the board. We're now 14 up. They've got 8, the Washington Nationals. I'm hoping that we come out with a big win, but I think it's inevitable at this point. You guys, thank you for watching Philadelphia Live with me. I'm Judea Murray. The news continues at 10, so don't go anywhere.
schools. Everything that we can save is worth saving. Expect more. All right. And so now I'm going to turn it over to somebody who needs no introduction. Thank you so much, Mayor.
Good evening, everyone. What a good evening it is. Can we hear it for Brad's incredible family? 1 year ago, I had the pleasure of standing as your Democratic nominee and of standing next to Brad Lander. I've known Brad for some time, first as a colleague, as a friend, and over the course of that race and beyond, as a partner in this work. And I knew then what we all know now, and what many of you all have known for years. Brad brings a kindness to this work. He brings a sincerity to this work. He brings a vision of politics that is more than what we've seen for so long. And when we think about what our country needs, as Meg said, we need an understanding of what Mr. Rogers would talk about all those decades ago. We need a good neighbor. We need someone who will always have our back. And I'm so proud to stand here to describe a friend of mine in the language I've used with hope, and now simply to say it as fact. Please join me in introducing your next Congress member, Brad Lander.
All right, give it up one more time for the mayor of New York City, Ron Mamdani. It was an honor 1 year ago to work together to elect him the mayor of New York City. And it's been thrilling as he has been showing us what it looks like to fight for a New York City everyone can afford. For a place everyone is welcome, and for a city where we don't compromise on anyone's humanity. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you both.
What a glorious time to be a New Yorker. These past few weeks, there has been a powerful energy moving through our city, a generosity of spirit, a refusal to give up even against very long odds, and a feeling of joy out in the streets shared by every kind of New Yorker there is. Give it up for the New York Knicks, all right? And for the mayor who brought the first championship to New York City in 53 years. Our win tonight, it belongs to those streets as well, to the people who organize there, to the people who never give up on their neighbors. It was my name on the ballot today, but tonight's victory belongs to all of you. The people here, we've been organizing together for 30 years. We've stopped the evictions of seniors and families. We won the Prospect Park West bike lane. We brought participatory budgeting to New York City. We desegregated our middle schools. We rezoned Gowanus. We won justice for fast food workers and deliveristas and Uber drivers and freelancers. And we are standing up to ICE in our neighborhoods and in our immigration courts. I will be back at 26 Federal Plaza tomorrow morning. I wish I could thank every single one of you here by name, but I'm going to have to do a few stand-ins of gratitude. So thank you one more time to our mayor, Zoran Mamdani. I want to say thank you to our public advocate, Jumani Williams, to Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, and to a fantastic set of elected officials, including Assemblymember Bobby Carroll, and a lot of others who are in the room who I am going to say thank you to a little later. I want to say thank you to the Working Families Party, that's been my political home for 25 years, and it will be in Congress. And this incredible network of organizations. I'm going to do it quickly, but Jews for Racial and Economic Justice, Indivisible, Brooklyn Resistors, Move On, Stonewall, Lambda, 504 Dems, unions including NISNA, CWA, 32BJ, Workers United, Local 100, a campaign team for the ages led by Luke Hayes. Thank you, Emmett, Katie, Emily, Lauren, Harry, Luke, Connor, Neil, Emma, Dana, Rhea, Cal, Grace, Penelope, Allison, and to the great teams from Fight, Deliver, Global Strategies, Melted Solids, and everybody else who worked so friggin' hard on this race. An extraordinary thank you to my just truly incredible family. To my mom and dad, Carol and David, from whom I learned most of what I know about care and about listening. To my incredible kids, Rosa and Marek, who really, you guys inspire me every single day and hold me accountable pretty well, too. And to the most extraordinary person in my life, Meg. I am so lucky to be married to you.
Yes, you are.
I am so lucky to be married to you. You see how she holds me accountable right up here in public. You better believe it looks like that in our house as well. It is a house full of love and an expectation that you live up to the responsibilities and values that go with it. So, thank you. I also want to say thank you to Dan Goldman I want to say thank you to Dan Goldman for a hard-fought campaign and for his service to this community and to our country. I intend, as I committed during the campaign, to keep the triage center that he has set up in his office at 290 Broadway that has gotten over 40 detained immigrants released. And I will work to build on the fierce questions that he asks Kristi Noem and works hard to hold everyone accountable. I will build on that spirit. And I want to specifically praise him for how he responded to some of the toxic rhetoric that he and his staff faced over the past couple of days with grace and with gratitude. That is something we need more of in our politics. And I want to say to those who cast their votes for Dan, though we have some differences, I believe strongly that we actually have so much more in common.
Yes. Yes.
I know that you want to rescue our country back from Trumpism and renew our democracy. Yep. And I know you want to find a better, more humane path for us on the world stage. Yes. I will always endeavor to listen to you thoughtfully, and to represent you and everyone else in this incredible district with great care.
Here, here.
I have a few things I want to say, and I don't get a platform that often quite like this. So I am going to ask, in the spirit of solidarity, for you to indulge me a little bit. I know not everyone in the back can really hear. Maybe we'll give you a printed copy of the remarks a little later. But I'm going to ask. I got a few things I want to say tonight. So I'm going to ask for your solidarity to help me do it. Last Thursday, I gave a name to that spirit that has been moving in New York City. I said it was solidarity. I said it was the force we need to vanquish our biggest foes. And I don't mean Wemby and the Spurs. Solidarity is the force that we need to vanquish Trump's fascism, to abolish ICE, to stand up to the billionaires who are rigging our economy against us. This campaign here was born out of solidarity. Now, solidarity is not the same as unity. Unity means we already agree. Solidarity means we do the work to build bridges even across significant differences. That's what we did last year when we joined together to defeat Andrew Cuomo and elect Zohran Mamdani as the mayor of New York City. All right, I'm going to also add one thank you that I thought I had in a great list of unions before, but we could not have won this race without the United Auto Workers region. Fighting union who shows an awful lot of solidarity and was there last year when we defeated Andrew Cuomo and elected Zohran Mamdani as mayor. We proved then politics doesn't have to be a cage match. Politics can be a team sport in pursuit of the values we share. We ran this campaign also like a team sport because you need a team when you're up against bullies and billionaires. And that's what I intend to do in Congress. Our team of progressive champions is growing tonight. It's been growing in recent months, beginning with that election of Ana Lilia Mejia in New Jersey and continuing to tonight. Congratulations to Claire Valdez on her victory. And I believe it will continue to grow in the months ahead. Now, when you're insurgents, you spend a lot of time criticizing. That's just the nature of a primary. But coming out of a primary, our job is to do two things, and they are slightly different from Meg's two things. Our job is to do two things: to take the lessons that the voters taught us, and also to build unity within the Democratic Party to win the majority back this fall. When I launched this race, I said it wasn't progressives versus moderates. I said it's fighters versus folders. So, as we head into November, I'm going to give you 4 lessons that I believe are worth fighting for. All right. First, we have to fight hard and visibly against a system the American people have already concluded is rigged. And the clearest evidence of that rigging is corporate money in our elections. Democratic voters with these votes tonight are sending a strong message. It is time for the Democratic Party to walk away from corporate PAC money, to walk away from PACs funded by Wall Street and crypto and AI and APAC. People can see through this. They've been seeing through it for a long time already. We can only stand up and fight the corruption of Trump and his cronies if we make the line just as sharp and clear as it actually is. Second, we have to focus relentlessly on delivering for working families, on the things that matter most in their lives, on housing and health care and child care, and a job that pays enough to live a decent life in this expensive city. Heading into this fall, Democrats have to show people clearly what we're fighting for, not just what we're fighting against. That was such an important part of Zohran's campaign and has been an important part of his first 6 months in office. So here's a proposal for Democratic unity. One of the best things that Democrats did last year was to turn the government shutdown into a fight over health care subsidies. Let's do that again, but this time let's hold strong all the way to the end. Let's be clear together that Democrats will only vote for a budget that restores health care subsidies on the exchanges and to Medicare and to Medicaid.